Yo, what's going on, guys?
Sup, sup, sup.
What's up? We're going to start off the show right away. What do we got here? We got two hats. We got a beanie.
Oh, I'm so
and
out
a
of here,
trucker
man.
hat.
That's it. I told
get...
you, no, you're killing me, man.
Come on, bro. Eric!
I'm so done with
all
that.
All right. You know
Come
what?
Come on, man.
Screw it. What an...
You're killing me, dude. No way.
What an awesome show last night, dude.
That was kooky. What a train wreck. Unbelievable, man. I was laughing going to sleep, man. I tell you, it was hysterical, man. That was pure comedy, train wreck, disaster, but fun, man. A much needed laugh in this crazy time we're living in, man. So thank you to everybody. The fans were unbelievable. The chat was just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Don't even lift that. Don't you lift that up, man.
Baller, a.k.a. where's my $100, Broheem?
Let's go, Hopper.
Where you at, Hopper?
Hopper on the 100. Man, we got trolled last night by a.k.a. Baller, a.k.a. Hopper. Or
One
Hooper.
dude. I got my guy looking into it.
Good. He's
gonna find a horse head at his front door, dude.
Man, you're gonna go frickin' the Godfather. They're gonna go the Bass Godfather all on.
So here's a sum, guys, because I know you're probably wondering, well, how did we make out? Everybody that bought is accounted for. We did not get screwed over whatsoever. Jamie Newton, I know you're out there. We're gonna square up. He already emailed me. Triton Jones, I'm still trying to reach out to him. And then William Holder, we had an issue. He won. He thought, and I thought, he won one of the big bait packages. It turns out we had to make a game day decision here. And but you still have the two Kitex and the Ranger hat if you're still interested in that. But other than that, we're good, man.
That's right.
Good job.
Hey, how's my head height, Travis? I definitely want to get square because I know how OCD you are about us looking in frame. How am I doing?
It looks perfect.
Just checking. I moved up a little bit, man.
Yes.
I'm starting to notice these things.
So everybody that paid early, or everyone who paid like right away last night and into this morning, I did like a big tub to the post office. I felt like a dick. Okay, so I get in there, and I had to wait like 4 or 5 people in line. And as I'm like the second person to go up to the window, I look behind me. There's literally like 20 people 6 feet apart, all the way out to the street, waiting to mail stuff. And I'm like, I'm sorry, 20 minutes at the window, dude.
Wow.
Yeah, and then I got home, and a bunch of the other payments came in. So I just got done pretty much wrapping everything up. So, of course, on Monday, all those will go. So you guys don't have to email or text, or you're not getting the track number. Your shit will arrive in a couple days. Guaranteed. Give it a week. If it doesn't, talk to me.
Good job, man. Good job. You got the quick ship. You're getting 5 stars.
Did you get your stuff shipped out today, Eric?
Hell to the no, man. You kept me up till midnight, man. I didn't ship a damn thing. I got to tie up some jigs. I got to put a little sparkle dust on Sean's crankbaits, man. I mean, come on, man.
So anybody that won Eric's auctions last night, expect your product in what, 10 to 15 days?
I would say so.
Okay.
Yeah, that's about my pace. So don't you worry about it, man. I wasn't planning on selling anything. You twisted my arm, and I came through, didn't I?
Yes.
All right, good.
No, we are all good. So
David
tonight,
Brown, 3 a.m. tonight, ladies. Jimmy, maybe.
I don't have a printer yet, guys. Listen,
what?
A lot of people were picking on me about not having some type of setup with UPS stores and the post office and just print labels and weigh it. I'm not that advanced. Tackle Craft sent me a bunch of messages today showing me how to do it, and so I'm going to get one because I sell a lot of stuff. So,
hey Travis, thanks for sharing that with me. I appreciate it, man. You are so one way when it comes to this stuff, man. You get the good info. Hey guys, just to let you know, about 2 weeks ago, I asked Travis, I said, "Hey man, where'd you get those bags that you store the baits in? So like when you ship them out." Oh, I'll send it to you. 0.
Oh.
Tackle Craft weighing sit 0.
And
0. I'm going full on this summer, man. I'm open up. Can I finish the thought, dude?
Yes.
just want to let everybody know, man, that there's going to be more stuff available this summer.
Awesome.
I'm thinning out the inventory, man. It's time.
And listen, probably a week not scheduled, I'm going to have another auction, maybe with just myself. I realize I have tons of bins of plastics and stuff that I would love to let you guys have first dibs on. And I know Eric probably doesn't want to stick around for another, maybe once a year. Can we do it maybe once a year with you?
Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe 10% for moderation.
I like it. So guys are asking, where's Big Crank Jimmy? Well, nobody really knows tonight. But
I talked to him. He had a blast too.
We're probably gonna see if he wants to join us a little later tonight, just to say hi. Why not? Right. After last night's show.
Oh my gosh.
Can it get any better? I think it can. I know you guys go crazy when Epic Eric talks crankbaits, and I think that's what the majority of this show is going to be about. We're going to dig deep into the brain of Eric, figure out what gets you your crank.
What gets me cranked up, man? Just all of it, man. Not just crankbaits, man. It's like every category. I dive into it, man. I like to do little mods and tricks and modifications. You've seen it all, dude. I mean, you fished with me for 3 years, man. Yeah. I keep digging tricks out. I busted out a trick on you last night, man. You're like, what? Pogo shads with a back hook? Where'd that come from, right?
I don't know. Baller AKA had his hands all over those for a little while.
Oh, I had 2 and 3 people backing up. I got people DMing me about those. So they're already sold, by the way. So no, somebody stepped right in, man. There was plenty of bids on that thing. So yeah, man.
I got you.
Fishing with Phil, Bagley Fat Cats for show.
Dang. So
William Jackson wants to auction off that box. That could never happen. But it would be, I don't even know. Man, I wouldn't even know where to start. I don't even know how many are in here. This is one box. Isn't that crazy?
That is.
If you think about it.
That is. Hey, quiet down. All right, so let's get into it. Let's where are we going to start? Take us on the journey. I'm going to sit back. Yeah, relax.
Man. Yeah, stay on the screen because I like to look at you here, and so we'll just start that way. And then if I dive into a box, you can give me full screen. I'll let you know.
Fair enough.
All right.
Yep.
But all right, so I'm going to start with a little crankbait trivia for everybody out there. I'm not going to show a bait, but I'm going to ask the question. I'll give you some clues along the way. So, what started the square bill craze? You got to go back farther than you think, and I'll give you a hint. So, what was the original square bill? It was not made out of plastic, by the way. It was made out of balsa. And who was the maker? It started the alphabet plug craze. Travis?
I got
Jump right in. Jump right in.
Rapala DT.
No, okay. Man. No, you got to go way back, man. I think most people would say it was Fred Young with the Big O. Okay, so that's the plastic Big O. I do not have an original Fred Young Big O. There you go. A lot of people are saying it. Good job, guys, man. A lot of people are tuned into that one. There was a balsa that was made that's modern. This is his balsa version. This is the plastic version. The plastic version does have a knocker, and it's a lead knocker. So the baits back, way back when in the 70s and 60s, they would put a big lead ball in them. And so it's a deep kind of knock sound. It's not tungsten, but it's got a unique sound. A lot of those old 70s bombers, the screw tails that I showed last night, and I'll show some of those tonight, have that deep rattle sound to it. So anyway, this started the alphabet. Who knew, or who knows out there, what did Fred Young used to display his crankbaits in when he would deliver them to customers? If they ordered a dozen, what would he use?
I'm going to guess a glass case.
No, he would use an egg carton. An egg carton. Yeah. That's how he did it, man. So, all right. So, Fred Young started the alphabet craze. You can give him credit for the square bill. Has anybody ever taken the back hook of a Big O and just fished it with one hook? I talked about that with a -1. Try that sometimes with a crankbait. You'll experience some interesting things. I won't dive into the techniques or anything right now, but just try taking a back hook off of a crankbait occasionally and see what happens. See what you can crawl it through versus having 2 hooks. You'll stay hung up a whole lot less, and it changes the action of the bait, just like changing hook size can do the same thing. So there was a guy that I got to talk to. I feel really, really fortunate. I've talked to a couple custom balsa makers over the year directly, talked about their baits, talked about the whys of their baits. And there was one gentleman, and he trained with Fred Young. Does anybody know the custom balsa maker that I'm talking about that actually trained and apprenticed under Fred Young? So he made a square bill too. I'm not even sure if he's still alive. It has been a long time since I've talked to him. I'm going to show the crankbait. I'm not going to show the name because it's written on the bottom. Recognize it, Travis?
No.
Let me see. I'm going to give it a minute. It's not Lee Sisson, by the way. And there is a knocker in here. It's probably a glass knocker. It's not a Bill Norman. There you go. Mag 120 Fish 1. Mike Estes. It's not Estes. It's Mike E. Step. And I'll show the bottom of the crankbait so you can see the spelling of his name. E. Step. Can you see that name, Travis? On there?
Yes. There, okay. Right now, in focus for 1 second. Yes.
Oh, okay. So he made a. These are called Big E, and he made a Big E1 and a Big E2. And it's kind of an homage to Fred Young, but it also maps to the Bagleys. So that's like the next thing I want to dive into, man. So is anybody out there a Bagley fan? Sign off. I want to hear it. Or sound off.
I got a few myself, believe it or not.
Yeah? Do you have any of the originals?
Yes.
The ones in Winter Park?
Yes.
The ones like in the 70s?
Yes.
All brass?
Yes.
Go get that box, man. Come
on.
I
got one. It's right here.
Where is it? Let me. Oh, you only got one.
It's this guy.
Oh, that one you bought that you called me about.
Yes.
So the Bagleys, man. I guess that's what everybody was chasing back in the day, and they're still chasing them, right? There you go. Is that all brass? You can look at the line ties. That's the way to tell an original Bagley. Is all brass construction. From the nose of the bait to the bottom of the bait to the back of the bait, right? And the shape of the newer baits are definitely different, man. So this one's probably was made in Winter Park, Florida. That's an original Bagley's. It's the BB1, man. It's the BB1. And they also made a BB2 and then a BB3. So this is the one I showed the other night in skunk. It's kind of a cool color, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think what made these baits popular, premium balsa, and balsas, every wooden bait is different. The density of the bait, right? The flotation of the bait. What I've noticed about some of the, handmade balsas that I throw is some will literally back out a cover like a cork, man. I mean, a super fast back out, and some have hunting action. And because everyone was custom made, right? Wire through construction. And you get the hunting properties. A lot of people like the all brass construction because when they switch to steel, and I'll get you a modern killer bee and show you, you could see the metal line ties are not brass anymore. Some people just absolutely loved the hold on. Sean Lai, I like what Epic did. It's OG with all the metal is brass. There you go, man. Anyway, man. So the magic of these old baits, everyone's different. They're coveted. They're really, really hard to find anymore. Some of the newer bait makers that got into the square bills, I think everybody knows about Zoom, WECs, and Ed Chambers. He tipped his hat to Bagley's. And the E1 is the one everybody's chasing today. There have been multiple tournaments won on multiple series with this Zoom WC E1. Ed Chambers made about 3,000 balsa baits a year. I talked about it last night a little bit. So that's the E1. And Ed did a great thing, man. Ed signed every one of his baits, and he dated them, generally speaking. So I've got some, earlier models, like all the way back to 2006. And I've got some ones that are just as recent as, before he passed away. So they're now super popular. I mean, some of these baits are going from $80 to over $100. It's pretty incredible. He made so that was the E1 I showed you, and this is the E2. And it kind of compares. I mean, I'll show you a Bagley's below it in skunk. Same body shape, same body style, lip angle. It's almost a replica and a copy, right? So both great crankbaits, absolutely great crankbaits. So I'm going to dive into, that was a little bit of balsa history. I wanted to kind of focus on the square bills. So, guys, I think you remember, like back in the day, after the square bill craze got going, what was the bait, and Travis, you love this one, that really got, I think, the entire fishing community focused on square bills? I know you know this answer.
What
modern square bill it just set the world on fire, man?
The 1 point, well,
yes,
yeah, a lucky,
yes.
Rick Clun 1.5.
That's right.
Look at that, dude.
The RC. So
wow.
Does anybody out there have this pack? I went through and I found this recently. This was sold at Bass Pro Shop. And normally when I get something like this, I would have dug into it and used all the baits. So this is the whole lineup. They're not just RC 1.5s, by the way, but it's the original. And what do they call it? The perfect selection from Rick Clun. And it had some special run colors.
Look at that color, dude. Look at that red, that bright. Yeah. Oh my.
Yeah. So I don't even know how old this box is.
You can't open that.
I'm not going to open it. I don't remember when So, red crankbaits aren't new. But this is pretty cool, man. This is pretty cool. And then KVD came out with his 1.5, right? So it's really interesting to me. And then Rick Clun and Lucky Craft had a little bit of an issue. Mm-hmm. He went to Lucky Strike and started to make his RC over there. Then Takahiro came in. Who out there thinks, and I'm really curious about this, there's a lot of people who will say that the original 1.5 RC from Lucky Craft is better than the American that you see right now that's being sold on the market. Does anybody agree with that, Travis? Have you thrown the new ones?
I have.
And do you feel any different? Do you feel like they're the same bait?
Obviously I prefer the originals. Now, the Takahiro Mori, Lucky Craft 1.5, especially the DD, I could work with for sure.
Okay.
Yes.
Hey, so Travis and Travis asked me to take him out on Baton and tell you guys a story about this bait.
Listen.
I got to tell this story.
Can we auction that off?
No, hell no.
No? Okay.
So I'm going to tell you guys a story. This is an RC 1.5 DD. Travis was not throwing in this color. This is Bull Bream. It's one of my favorite Lucky Craft colors if I'm not throwing Copper Shad. So Travis has got a Lucky Craft 1.5 original RC DD. So I got him up north. He's never been up there. I'm showing him the way around, right? I got him in this sneaky little place up north. And I caught a couple jig fish, black and blue jig. And so he goes, I want to go over here and crank this bank. And I'm like, well, I haven't found a lot of fish over there in the past, but let's go do it, right? So Travis, he's cranking the bank, and he gets snagged. And he goes, dude, because he caught like a 3.5 in another spot that I showed him above the bridge. And he goes, I got to get this bait. So Travis is leaning over his gun rail, and he's using the net, and he's trying to hook the treble hooks. And then the next thing I know is Travis is all the way in the water. Did you get the bait?
I did, yes. But that was the first time I ever fell out of a boat.
And I was there.
All the way.
That was epic, dude.
Yeah.
That was epic. You laughed your ass off. I mean, you went head first, bro, Haas.
Yes.
All the way in. We didn't think it was that deep. And Travis, I think you said you were trying to slide your hand down the net. It just kept going.
Yes. I mean, and then I couldn't grab on to the side of the boat quick enough.
No, because your boat's always waxed, so it was super slick. So you just went straight in, man. It was freaking awesome, man. Yeah. It was awesome. So you're saying you can like, is anybody asking questions? I know you're just watching the show, but you got to kind of be the moderator, and maybe you can throw out a question or two, because I can't talk straight for 4 hours.
Okay.
All right. What's going on the question board, man?
Great color. We got, man.
So really, you're just starting to look at the questions.
I wish I could throw cranks on the Finger Lakes. You certainly can throw cranks on the Finger Lakes.
Well, let's talk about that. What would be the crankbait selection on the Finger Lakes, man?
Well, I'll tell you what. There's a very good deep weed bite where cranking comes into play there, and maybe I don't know I'm not sure. Maybe he's just not comfortable, or maybe it's because it's closed down. I don't know. I'm not sure why he asked that. I mean, I don't think they can launch a boat. Maybe that's why. He wishes he could go out there right now. I'm not sure.
Right.
Yep. What else we got?
I'd have to go back, man. I was kind of on a little bit of.
Listen, I'm gonna keep. I'll pay attention better, but buddy, like I'm trying to look here, and there's so much going on. They're long. They're long. It takes me like Sean's jumping in here.
Okay.
What hooks do you use on the Bagleys?
Yep.
What about basswood crankbaits?
Yep. I saw a comment about Mike Auten developing the 1.5 and RC and Rick Clunn taking credit for it. Yeah, I've heard that story.
What makes a great color? Oh man, there's so much.
On the color theory, guys, I mean, depending upon where you fish, I mean, I think you can keep it simple, right? Get yourself a shad colored crankbait. Get yourself a bluegill-esque colored crankbait, and get yourself a crawdad colored crankbait. Brown craw, red craw. Craws in your region might have a little bit different flavor. Could have a green back versus a brown back versus a red. I think you can't go wrong with those three. Yeah.
What crankbaits you use up on Thousand Islands? That's a great one. I like the Spro DDs. I like the Corsa DT 20s. I'll throw the Series 5 is a great crankbait. Series the was it the XP or the X. The
6XD? The 5XD?
Yeah, 5XD, yep.
Yeah, 5XD. Yeah, Strike King. Yep. Mm-hmm. Okay, good deal. So regarding hooks, I mean, you see on the back of this one that, I've thrown a round bend and an EWG. So I like to mix up the hooks. I think there's a big debate in crankbait fishing, which is better, EWG or round bend. So recently I've just come up with the thought that I'm just going to mix it up. I'm going to put a round bend, the EWG, I'm going to put it on the bottom hook hanger, and the round bend I'm going to put on the tail. Because if they're slashing at the bait, I want a more open hook that's going to grab them, right? And if they're choking the bait, they're going to get that EWG, and it's just over, right? Because then they have the round bend in the back of their throat and the EWG, on the bottom for the holding power, right? So, any other questions about setup or anything like that, Travis?
Well, just a lot of questions on different models. So the rock crawler, what makes the original 1.5 different than the new ones today?
I think here's the thing that can happen with baits, right? Original molds wear out, right? And then they'll run it through, and you might get a tail end of the run of a bait that's been in a mold, or a mold that's made, millions and millions of crankbaits, right? Then they redesign the mold, and that mold can change. The plastic and the quality, do they keep it at the same factory, right? I think it's the difference between, and we dove into this a little bit last night, is the older bombers are way more dense, the plastic, and I showed the plastic in the pogo shads. So if you look at this plastic in the pogo shad, and I know somebody's going to be able to tell me what the plastic is. We had some chemistry people on the show like a couple shows back. But see that bone plastic? And what I find interesting is in Japan, in the JDM market, you'll find some Lucky Craft crankbaits that will say bone on the package. When they refer to bone, they're referring to this plastic. The clear plastic, and I know somebody's going to be able to tell us in the comments, the clear plastic is a less dense and lighter plastic. And I think somebody asked the question, what made the old 1.5s better than the new 1.5s? It could be only two things in my mind, right? A difference in the mold when they remade them if they had to, or the quality and the cost of the plastic going into the molds, right? I think a denser plastic, like in this old 2-hook model Pogo Shad, it's just got a different thump and different resonance because it's a more dense plastic, if that makes sense, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Same thing on these old, and the only way to tell, get yourself a new bomber, 6A, and get yourself one of these. This is an old 1970-ish bomber, and that's in Fire Tiger. They still make this same bait. So two things on the bait, and I showed this the other night with a black light. The old paints that they used to make, I think, were higher quality, and it probably had more phosphorescent in it. So these baits will glow under UV light a whole lot brighter. That's one thing. Number two, this plastic and the old screw tail, when I refer to the screw tail bomber, It's that I'm talking about right there. Do you have a new bomber, Travis?
I do. I'm looking right now.
Yeah, so if Travis will hold up a new bomber, but that screw eye back there, it's actually a screw. It goes into the back of the bait. So that's not wired through construction. The hook hanger is just screwed into the back of the bait. I've never had it fail. But that's how you can tell an old bomber versus a new bomber. What are we looking at?
Here's a new one.
We're looking at the very tail of the bait. See how this is? I could unscrew this hook from the back of the bait.
Oh.
Yours is molded in.
Correct, yes.
You can't, yeah. So this is screwed in.
That's a good point.
Right. So this is screwed in versus molded. So anyway, this plastic is a lot denser and a lot thicker. And so once again, I just think when it's going through the water, it's kicking and it's throwing out more vibration. And plus the knocker's different. This is like a lead ball in the bait. And so it's got a deeper thumping sound. And look, man, the new bombers, they still catch fish. And they catch a ton of fish. So I don't get hung up whether I'm throwing an old bomber or a new bomber, but this is my confidence and go-to. And you can find these cheap on eBay, man. You know what I mean? So I'm going to say paint, plastic, and sound. Just a deeper knock. I don't know if you guys can hear about that, right? Oh, we're not going to leave out the old school frickin' whatchamacallits, man. Travis, thanks for getting that bait. I appreciate it.
No, I was grabbing a bait because I want to show you something.
Yeah, what'd you want to show me?
I want your opinion on this one.
Sure.
I don't know much about it.
Yeah.
So obviously it's a bomber.
It's a bomber. It's the
Model
clear
A,
one.
yes.
Yeah.
And it has Larry Nixon's signature on the side.
Larry Nixon made a whole signature series.
Do you know roughly how old this could be, or?
That's more modern for a bomber. Yeah, it doesn't have a screw tail, right? So it's probably I don't know. That was probably made I'm trying to remember, man. But yeah, he had a chartreuse one too.
I mean, is it 10 years or newer?
Oh no, it's 20 years old.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's 20 years old for sure.
Yeah, it's got. I mean, you can see the internals of it. You can see the rattle up right by the bill there.
Yeah. Yep.
It's nothing special then in your mind, really?
Man, so Scudder he asked, this is a good question.
Can you answer mine first? Is this anything special, Larry?
Yeah, that's a good bait. I like that bait a lot.
What does that mean?
That's very collectible. Look, it's a translucent bait, first of all, right? And so you don't see many translucent crankbaits, right? Yeah. It's a great color because, I love red crawl, right?
Right.
So I think that's a great clear water red crawl color because of the translucent.
Okay.
You remember the warts that, had that translucent color that guys would fish on high mountain reservoirs, right?
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, man, those look like old bombers. Those are good. So somebody asked the question. I thought this was a great question, man. Yeah, it's an old screw tail. If I could only bring one crankbait, Travis, you should listen to this too. And we'll get into the bandits too, by the way, because that's the question above it, or just a comment. Mm-hmm. You can only bring one crankbait. The fish are at 6 foot in open water. Which one would you bring? Rock Crawler MD, Rapala DT6, Bomber 6A, or Original Wigglewort? Man, if I'm fishing like a high mountain reservoir where the guys throw warts, I'm throwing a wart. If I'm fishing down here where I've got a little bit more stain in the water, tidal, I might throw Rapala DT6. The Bomber A is right there with it, though. But I would have to say maybe a Rapala DT6. So if you're fishing high mountain, the Original Wart. If you're fishing my tidal rivers, I'm going with my Rapala DT6 because of the clicker in it. I like the sound.
What do you think of this?
Show me the tail. Is it a screw tail?
Yes.
Baby bass bomber. Yeah, man.
Legit? Older?
It's old. It's 70s. All those screw tails are 70s, man.
Wow.
No doubt about it.
Huh.
All right. 89, Tom said. Yeah, that's right. Jamie Newton. Old cedar pose, man. There's so many ways we can go with this conversation.
Look at that old guy.
What do you got? Show us.
I don't even know what that is.
Look, it's a Norman.
You like?
Yeah. Oh, those Normans are great little baits, man.
All right.
They had some quality problems, I don't know when they ran through them, but like the older ones, and you got to really tune them up, which I didn't love about them too much. But what do you think we start in this box? Because I got this box made up. That looks like a little balsa crankbait. Yeah. And so these are some of my favorite money baits. All right. So let's begin. So let's start like early season. What do you think? What's going to be on the end of my line in early season?
Oh, flat side.
I'm gonna have a flat-sided bait on, right? I'm also gonna mix in a shad wrap, right?
Yes.
No doubt about it. Now this one I painted up, but I haven't put new hooks on it, and I just want to show people that I took this Rapala shad wrap. I think this is not a 5. This looks like a 6. And what I did was I took my favorite nail polish and put a little shine on that bait and made the shad dot just a little bit bigger for a target. Because a lot of times on our rivers, Travis, and I think you can agree, early spring, we might see a little bit stain in the water, right?
Yes.
You know what I mean? So I love a shad wrap in the spring. I throw my shad wraps on a spinning rod. Travis can attest to that, especially the number 5s, number 6s. Number 7s, I mean, you can get away with it. Ed Chambers made a great bait that, was attempting at a shad style bait that has a little bit more of a nose down attitude and a little bit more wiggle to it. When I say wobble, when I say wobble, I'm talking about on like this, wiggles like shimmying, and roll is, rolling. Anyway, this Ed Chambers bait, it's a Z2 and it casts like a bullet. You could throw this on a bait caster. This is in Chartreuse Classic, or a shad wrap. Or I might, and this is a little sneaky bait that I don't know how many people have heard about. Travis, what's that bait on top?
Pose?
Nope.
I don't know.
This is a Sudeth bait.
Oh, yes.
And it's called the Little Earl.
Yes.
All right. So you got to be careful when you're looking for Little Earls made by Sudeth, Suddeth, and this is one of my favorite little baits. Every time I've thrown the bait, I catch fish. It is tough to throw in wind, I'll give you that. You can throw it on a bait caster. I'd throw it on, I might even step down to 8, certainly 10. But this is one of the tightest wiggling little cranks. I mean, it wiggles more than a shad wrap, if that's even possible. Okay, so between this, the Little Earl, and by the way, the Little Earl is made out of foam. This is one of the rare foam. It's got a little ticker in it, and they made a sinking bottle, and they make a floating bottle. So you got to be careful. Now I want to show you this. This is the newer Sudeth, and it's a lot thicker than the older ones. And this is a great example of why older baits work better than newer baits. So I'm going to grab my Sudeth box, Travis, real quick here, if I can get it out quick.
Yes.
And I'm going to show you the difference between an old Sudeth and a new Sudeth. And so you ask me, people ask, why are the old baits better than some of the new baits? I'm going to show you how different the body shape is compared to like an old Little Earl. Mm-hmm. And you'll see what I'm talking about. So this is a great example of a company that stopped making baits. Somebody revived the baits and made new molds, okay? So on the left is the original Little Earl. On my right, this side, maybe that's your left. So this is the new Little Earl, the shad one. Look at the thickness, the difference. Isn't that incredible? Can you see it?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, right? So the length of the lip is exact because they use the same lip. The actual, almost the length of the bait and the height of the bait, just slightly different. But the older ones that are super thin absolutely wore them out.
Wow.
Yeah, you'll know because they have Mustad EWGs, the older one. And then this is the real tip I want to show you. I know this bait's a little dirty, and you can see my line on it. But it has a red little dot right by, and that'll allow you to take the lip out. So see that little red dot right there? That's a little piece of plastic that keeps it in. On the newer bait, it's in a different position, and it's not red. So just FYI. That's why the older ones just have a completely different action. Both catch them. I just think the smaller bait outshines the newer one. But that's a great example of how a company changed a bait. Mm-hmm. So that's early season. What else would be thrown early season? Shad wraps.
We do a lot. You do a lot of
and
tricks
then flat sides.
Do we want to get into how you weight?
Yeah, man. I want to show a flat side or two for sure, man, because that's like a big part of my game, right? So early spring, cold water.
CP Customs for me.
Yeah, well, yeah, man. Yeah, you like that one. I think that was one I popped out when we went out, and that was an early episode, wasn't it?
Yes, yep.
So Craig Powers, who worked with Sonny McFarland from Flat Shad that made the Flat Shad. Anybody know Sonny McFarland? Another legendary bait maker. I'll show a couple Sonny McFarlands here. So that's a Sonny McFarland Flat Shad. That's a dynamite early spring bait. Mimic lures. This is basically a PD style bait. For those that you don't know, this is like a whole, it's just a generic name for these types of crankbaits. But Sonny McFarland made it. Mimic Lures made it for Strike King Custom Balsa Shop. Mark Rose has one on the Strike King Custom Balsa Flat Shad. I think that's what they called it. Travis, I think you got the Sonny McFarland style.
Yes.
On a crawl colored crankbait. He's won several $100,000 on the bait. So this is on the end of Mark Rose's rod in the spring. It's definitely part of his arsenal. I'm throwing it on a bait caster. I'm throwing it on 10-pound test. And there's some tricks you could do. Travis kind of alluded to it, especially with the shad wraps or the flat sides. I'll take some wire and I'll wrap it around the back shank. So you go to a fly tying shop at the Bass Pro Shops, you'll see little skinny lead wire, and you can wrap a couple strands around the back hook. You can even wrap it around the front hook. But why I like to do it around the back hook on a shad wrap in particular is it tail weights the bait, and when I'm throwing it, it has the weight back on the tail, and it doesn't twirl and tumble as much. And it also helps suspend the bait, so it's not rising as much. And this is the Mimic lure that I was talking about. So the Mimic lure maker made them for Strike King, and this is in a purple kind of back shad. That's a dynamite color for some Tennessee lakes. And he also made them in, different colors like crawfish, and this is the deeper diver model,
Yep. I'm supposed to ask you about a sea flash. I don't know if that relates to the current topic or not, but...
Yeah, the sea flash, I think it was Wally G that made the sea flash for a company. And the Sea Flash Wally G. So let me get out a couple different Wally G baits and show you guys. And what the Sea Flash Wally G would totally add like a little chartreuse in each of his baits. So every single bait in the lineup had a little hint of chartreuse. It was kind of cool. And so Wally G was the bait maker, and Wally G is still making baits, by the way, and you can go get them online. So this is a Wally G. It is a flat side. The W will be on the bottom if you know you're getting a custom Wally G. This is a hard thumping bait. Look at the lead in the bill. You can file it down if you want, but that'll help it dive and get to depth very quickly. It's a great little flat side. Wow. This is not a sea flash, by the way, but Wally G made a lot of different kinds of baits, He's got them in crawl. You got your crawl color Wally G right there. There's three.
Where can you pick those up?
You can get them on eBay. Wally G has a very big eBay store. I don't know if anybody's down with throwing crappie patterns in the spring, when the bass are spawning, because the crappie go first when the dogwoods are blooming, and bass really hate crappie. So they just smack these baits on a crappie pattern. Not many people throw crappie patterns. That's not too crappy.
I throw crappie patterns.
Crappie. So that's Wally G for you guys, man. Wally G.
We call them crappies.
Yeah, Wally G's got these are two Wally G boxes. He's got a lot of different models, so I'm not going to go through all the Wally G's. So where do you want to drive next, man? So we talked about some flat sides. I'll talk about a few more flat sides that I really like. I think there's an underrated flat side out there. It wasn't a very durable bait, but I don't know why, but it frickin' straight up catches them, man. Who ever heard of the Thunder Shad? And this was a Rick Clun bait too, Travis. Where are you, man? You just bait.
Well, we're getting messages on DM as well, talking about wake bait, storm subwards.
We're not doing any of that.
Okay.
We're not doing. I need you to watch the questions on the comments, man. You're supposed to be moderating tonight.
Yes.
You suck as a moderator. You're terrible.
Brohim, I hooked up David Brown's question.
That's one. Give me some questions, bro. So this is a Thunder Shad. This has a really super.
Eat my crappie.
Yeah, this has a really super lazy kind of wobble to it. It's a very finessey flat side. I don't know if that makes sense because a lot of your flat sides will have that tight little wiggle. This one just has this lazy kind of wobble and roll to it, and it's super good for cold water, man. So the Thunder Shad, You can still get them. There's plenty available, so check them out. All right, let's transition, man. Let's keep going. Let's talk about when the fish get a little bit more aggressive. What's going to be on the end of your line?
What do you think about the new black foil on the new 13 fishing cranks?
The new black foil. I don't throw 13 fishing cranks, man, but I love a foil crankbait. Does everybody know what he's talking about when he's talking about a foil crankbait?
I'll be honest. I didn't really know until I met you.
Yeah. So that's what the foil is referring to. This is a Ed Chambers. This is a Hickey. And, you know, I don't know what these are going for, man. Ed did not make a lot of foil baits. But there's something about that just mimics, you know, a shad better than anything else. So, you know, if you think about your rattle traps in early spring, right, you know, the chrome rattle traps are throwing off a lot of flash. So it's giving that bass a cue that this is forage. I'm not saying that your pure white baits won't do it, you know, because you can add flash with paint. But there's something about that, you know, dynamic flash that just really, really works. I love a foil bait. I love a gold foil, you know, Jawjacker, which is another great flat side maker, and I throw his bait a lot. I probably got a couple here out that I want to show you. He makes a color called Sneaky, and it's kind of like a gold foil with an olive back, and there's just something about the subtle flash of that, you know, gold foil bait that in dirtier water with a little bit more stain just draws some bites, man. It just draws some more bites for me, so I really dig it. Let me see if I can pop one of those out. Any other questions coming through, bro?
What do you think about adding a feather treble to a crank? Is that feasible application? I'll tell you what, I have wake 100%. Baits. Wake baits, I really like a feather treble. That's really the only time I'll add one, though. You can mess around on jerk baits, things like that, too, but...
No, feather treble on a crankbait is something that just I think is overlooked. Absolutely adds a little bit of extra something. It's done a lot. I mean, VMC's recently come out with some blades for their treble hooks. We showed that the other night, and so this is the color that I was talking about, Sneaky. So it's got, you know, a light brown back. It's got a peach underbelly. It's got your shad dot. It's got gold, and it's a silver foil, but it's got some gold overtones to it. That bait right there has just wrecked them for me, Travis, on my rivers.
Sure.
In the fall in particular. So that's a flat side. It's a deeper diving flat side. So guys, one thing, when you're looking at baits, if you see the bill come straight out of the nose, you're going to get more of a tight action. If you see like a square bill, it's the complete opposite, right? You know, the square bill's got that bill angle down attitude, right? And so that's going to give you a lot of wobble and a lot of action. So, you know, colder water, and look, flat sides catch them all year. So in some regard, I think it's a myth that you have to use, you know, like a tight wiggling bait when it's cold versus a wobbling bait. I think they eat it all year long, but there's something about that's in my head. It works for me. It's my confidence thing. So I'd rather be throwing tighter wiggling baits in colder water and wider action wobbling baits in warmer water,
yes.
Right?
Yes, so somebody asked, where was it here? The Timber Tigers. So I had like 20 of them and sold them because I couldn't catch shit on them. Was that a bad move?
Well, which ones did you have, and what were you trying to do with them? What were they designed for?
I assume throw them in freaking wood.
Yeah, man. But in particular, they were probably designed for brush pile fishing, right?
Yeah.
And which one did you have?
I had a weird bill on it. That's all I know.
No, but which one did you have? Did you have the DC-8, the DC-4?
Brohim, I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Yeah, it's cool. I mean, everybody knows what Travis is talking about, right?
Are they in your rotation ever?
There's a couple that I like. I don't remember. I'm a shallow water river rat, right? I don't fish deep. But if I was fishing brush piles, I'd have a Timber Tiger. But, you know, some people like it depends on how deep the brush is, too, that you're fishing. For shallow wood, or some people like a DT, I'd say, what are the DTs? You got the DT6, DT10, DT 14?
16, 20.
So the 14 and the 16 come through brush pretty damn good because they're balsa, right? And the Timber Tiger's a plastic bait. But the Timber Tiger's got that little fin on the side. Can everybody see that little fin?
Yeah.
So this is like the baby. This is a baby one. This is the cub. And this is a good little grass bait, oddly enough, man. It's got this single ticker in it, and it's a really loud single ticker, so it sounds different than most crankbaits. I don't know. It's not in my rotation, to be honest. I just have them.
Sure.
And I don't fish brush. So, but I did. I'll tell you when I did fish it. So I was on the Pocomoke River, and we went above a bridge, and there was a bank that was full of timber, full of old stumps. I mean, it was just nothing but stumps. And I threw a Timber Tiger. It came through the wood extraordinarily well. I did not spend my day hung up, and I caught, some good fish on it. So that's the one time I can tell you I committed to a Timber Tiger and did well on it. How about that?
I love it.
What are the other questions, Brojas?
They're just wondering where Hooper is. I go, he's red balled. Some guys are loving the Tiger, man.
Yeah.
They say they'll wear you out cranking them.
Mike Dove says, auction off your Timber Tiger, make a package. Yeah, I could do that, right? Tom just sent a request on Insta.
I have one, this is a question I think a lot of people would want to know.
Yeah.
And maybe you can produce that bait right now, maybe you can't.
Sure.
I want to know what bait that you own, what would be a bait, one that you would lose, you would just lose it if you lost it. You know what I mean? Like that one specific bait. Do you have that bait?
Man, that'd probably be
It's just one bait. It's a special bait dear to your heart is what I'm asking for.
Man, one of my favorite cranks ever?
But a specific one. Not a brand, not a batch of them, but one particular
I'd have to go up in my truck and get it because this is all my backup shit, dude.
What is it then?
It's a Bill Dance, Flat A, and Ozark Shad with a lot of hook rash on it. It's caught a lot of fish for me.
Gotcha.
This is Ozark. So I'll show the color because I brought it out because I wanted to show the color. I think I auctioned a couple off last night, right, that were custom painted trying to replicate this color. But there's something about this color. I don't know if you guys can see it. It's got this olive green back. Then it goes to bone with a little bit of crystal on the side. Then you've got this purplescent flash. Can you guys see the purplescent flash? Then it's got a bone belly. And that's it, man. This bait and this color just does it for me. And I've not been able to find a painter that can replicate Ozark Shad. And there's one bait that I would cry if somebody could find me. You want me to let you know what that bait is?
If you could find another one?
Nope, because I'll challenge how many people are watching?
300 plus.
Okay, so if any of you 300 plus people out there, I will trade you. You can pick any Zoom crankbait I own. If you find me a flat A, and it will be an old school one, in sun perch. I challenge anybody right now to try to Google flat A sun perch and find the color. I have pictures of the color, but I don't think you can. Google doesn't even have a picture of it. Somebody do it right now. If somebody can Google bomber flat A sun perch, find it for me. It's one of the best cold water colors ever made, and it's just not there. So I want an original bomber flat A sun perch so I can send it to my painter and he can reproduce it for me, because this bait's on the end of my rod early spring.
Gotcha.
It's one of the most unique baits ever made. So it's a flat side, and by the way, if you're looking for bombers, if you can find them, look for the old card. This is an old card. This is when, the plastic was better in my mind, the baits were better in my mind. See how the red background, you'll see bomber baits now have a white card. They've been through a lot of iterations of cards in the day, but this is the old school cards that you used to see. Fat A's, another one of them if you can find them in these red cards. I love them, man. This is the flat A, and it's a deep flat A, by the way. I don't want a shallow one. I'll take any one just for a color reference. So I'll trade. Who's got him? Reed says he has it?
We'll find out. Listen, also in the comments, I want to hear your guys'.
Yeah.
I want to hear everybody's favorite crankbait that they own. What it is. Like if they lost it, they would be devastated. I'm going to share you guys mine. I know a lot of you already know.
You retired it, Brojas.
Well, I did. It's this guy right here, the 1.5.
Mm-hmm.
That's a gem. I don't throw it anymore. I have other ones just like it, but this one's just special. Silent.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
And
this, as dumb as it sounds, Green Gizzard Series 5.
Will Perryman said, "Damn, Derek, you just raised the value." I don't look. Did anybody say they got it? Dude, I've got some. Reed Pennington. Okay, you see, if you're on Instagram, Reed, send a picture of that bait to me at Epic Eric Official on Instagram, and then we can horse trade a little bit. You know what I mean? Bull Bream, man. Okay, so we're seeing. Okay, so people are actually sending in. Anderson Trent, who paints for me. I got 2 people. Well, I've got baits that I was supposed to have sent to Tacklecraft, but I haven't done it. And then I've got Pal's Custom Baits as well. So here are all the favorites. We got Lucky Craft RC Bull Bream for sure. KVD 1.0 Brown Crawl.
John Henning sent me a picture, but I have no idea what I'm looking at, so I have no clue.
Smalley, show it to me. Wait a minute. Somebody just hit me up. Scooter.
What's Scooter saying? Shut up?
Oh, for sure. So what series CP flat slide do I like the best? Man, I like that CP3. CP3 all day long.
Yes. The 3.
Nobody sent me a picture yet. Anyway, I've scored big on that. I caught my my biggest tournament. Was it a tournament fish? It was a tournament fish on the Upper Bay on one that I painted up. It was a CP3, and I had lead on the throat. That's something else I'll do is I'll put lead strips, suspend strips with a little super glue so it stays on. Then I'll paint it with my nail polish so it kind of blends into the color. That's kind of cool. And it was a CP3 in like spring crawl. It's one of my favorite colors in the spring. And it was a 6/8 on a community hole. 2 boats had already gone through. My buddy was throwing like a, I don't know, some type of Norman, 6-foot diver. And he's cranking through it. And then I cranked through it. Yeah, I mean, we both knew where the like juicy spots were, right? There's some rock out there and wood. And I hit it. And, as I'm working the bait, I'm worming the bait. And I don't know if people understand what that means, but I'll worm a crankbait in the spring instead of just straight burning it. Or stop it and go like, you're throwing some action into your retrieve to get the bait to do things, or you hit cover and you stop. I'm actually pulling the bait with my rod, and when I contact the cover, I'll stop. And so I'm pulling that along and stop, and that bait, instead of rising and floating backwards because it's balsa, is sitting right there in the cover. And when I engaged the reel, the fish went to eat it and had it. It was a 6-pound, 8
Eric,
ounce.
is this the color you're looking for?
That is not the one.
Okay.
But let me see. That's not the color. That is not sun perch. Nope. I might have it. Let me take a look at my photos. I might have put it in my favorites. I'm not going to waste a lot of time looking for it. We got any other questions, Travis?
Yes.
What do you got?
Well, I'm just looking at. I'm just. People are hitting me up on Facebook and Insta on this, and I have no idea if it's even the right color. Let's see. What do we have here?
I don't know. You could be writing a ton of questions down because they are flying in, dude. Flying. Okay. All right. I'm just going to start reading through because you know what?
Cybercraw. PH Customs Cybercraw.
I've thrown a few PH Customs, but I my balsa guys that I stick with, I have a few PH Customs, but I stick with Zoom. I stick with Jawjacker. I stick with CP baits.
Do we want to talk about some Japanese crankbaits? Getting into JDM?
We could get into JDM for sure, man.
Because a couple questions, obviously, a lot of times those are really expensive crankbaits. And so one of the questions coming in is the difference between a $25 crankbait versus a $6 crankbait. And you guys all know I love a DT6, which is reasonably priced. Maybe it's all relative.
No, DT6 was like $550 recently on Tackle Warehouse. You could have loaded the boat with all DTs. Weren't they like $5.95?
Yes, but I'm also a big fan of the Blitz crankbaits.
Yeah.
And those are expensive.
So what's interesting about the Blitz, and that's a great one to start talking about. So let's talk a little bit about JDM. So they make a tiny Blitz, they make a Blitz MR. So the Blitz crankbait is it's a pretty interesting bait. I don't know if people can, if you cut a crankbait in half, you'd see that, every crankbait has chambers. They've got a rattle chamber, they've got air chamber for flotation. But the Blitz was made with a honeycomb core. And so they were trying to get it to be, it's a silent bait, and they were trying to get it to be and have properties like balsa, right? Every plastic crankbait maker is trying to make something that operates like wood, right? The Fritz side's a great example. David Fritz was a balsa fiend, right? What did he throw? He threw the pose for years, right? He drilled holes in the pose to get them weighted properly, to suspend, to do different things, right? And he won a ton of money. I mean, David Fritz was the master at, slinging a pose out there, reeling across a stump, 4 different angles, and finally getting the bite angle right. And he'd sit in his seat. So, and this is pretty cool. So you don't find this much. I mean, look at the way the Japanese weighted that bait, right? They've got that weight kind of sticking out. It's right at the bottom. This whole bait is a honeycomb center. And so you get a lot of flotation out of that. And you got the properties of balsa. And that's what Lucky Craft try to do with several of their baits too, right? So I don't know what makes these baits so special, the OGs, and I'm kind of going to divert. So I'm still we transitioned from cold in some of the baits. So I'm going to try to take people through the season and maybe pick out.
Okay, perfect.
Some of my favorite.
I did put Sean's comment up. He wants to know our crankbait setups, short rod with square bill, composite, graphite, real speed, all that. Let's cover that towards the end, I think.
Sure. Yeah, because we'll get off topic. So, so you guys know that I'm a big crankbait fiend, but I'm also a big, like when I say big, I mean bigger crankbaits, right? So everybody throws a 1.5, right? Universally. I'm a big believer that a bigger bait gets a bigger bite in the pre-spawn. So on my waters, we get white perch running through. On other waters, there are, the shad spawns happening. And so Lucky Craft made a BDS series, right? They were Fat CB Big Daddy Strike. And in the old days, and this is a really obscure fact that I'm going to tell people, this will blow people's mind because it blew mine when I figured it out. And I figured it out with a buddy of mine. And because we had worn through a bait and we were watching something that was happening within the bait. So this is a Fat CB Big Daddy Strike number 3. You see the Big Daddy Strike on the top, Trav? Trav, yes. This is when you're supposed to be watching questions. Not fucking texting people. Be a moderator,
It's awesome. It's awesome.
Hey, that's the last time you're checking your phone or I'm checking out. Now let's go and moderate this session. What in the hell? Good night. Be a good moderator. Anyway, Fat CB Big Daddy Strike 3, right? Look at the size of this bait compared to a 1.5. Where's my 1.5? All right, I'll get you the... damn, I don't even have a 1.5. I got to open another box to get a 1.5. It's right here. Just give me a sec. Hold, please. For comparison, right? For comparison size. Well, I'll just pick a bomber. You guys know the 6A. Anyway, look at the bait difference in the size. This is a big bait. This throws a lot. So they created the Big Daddy Strike series to have properties of balsa. This is a rounded lip. This is a great grass bait. This comes through grass, it comes through rock, it comes through wood. Anytime I'm throwing in grass, I don't want a square bill. Now, Travis, I know you said you'd crank a square bill in grass. That doesn't make any sense to me. I'd rather have a round lip coming through grass. I can snap it out better. It doesn't get snagged and hung down in the grass. I get a much cleaner cast. This is a dynamite bait for a bigger bite in the spring, but you can even go bigger. So that's the BDS, and this is the Pro Tune. And what was cool about this bait, and it was a malfunction of the bait, we wore a bait down, and the internal weight system would get stuck occasionally through the cast to one side and make this bait pop out and hunt and then come back to center. See, the weight is fixed in here. There's no rattle. This is a silent bait. Mm-hmm. But they mismanufactured several of the old Big Daddy strikes in these containers. This was the Pro Tune model. You can't find them anymore, man. But I've got several.
What would be your top 3 grass crankbaits?
Well, hold on. I'm going to finish the big bait series.
Well, I thought you wanted me to fucking moderate.
Well, no, you're supposed to write them down, and then when I'm finished speaking, the questions. I did for you last night, but okay.
Yeah, you sucked at it. I spent 2 hours. Never mind.
Fat CB4, man. This is the next lineup. So I just showed you the 3. This is the 4. This is like MS Crack. This is just dynamite, man. This is a big bait for a big bite. Once again, I'm throwing this on 17 to even 20-pound test. I'm grinding this on riprap. Once again, a rounded bill, not a true square bill, right? So it doesn't kick out as hard maybe, but I'm looking to move a lot of water and get bigger bites. They make some good colors when the water's clear near you. You just got to look. So this is a Pro Tune series. They're still making these, and you can find them in the American made. Again, I don't know, man. Are the American mades different than the old ones made in Japan? I'm just not sure. Or maybe these were made in China anyway, not in Japan. But they said made in Japan on the box. So, and then there's the Big Daddy Strike 2, the Fat CB. So this is another one. It's just a bigger square bill. And once again, it's got that rounded lip. This is a ghost color. And I love a ghost color when the water gets clear. That's really any body of water with clear water. So, I prefer like a ghost see-through color in clearer water than I would like a really, opaque color. So Big Daddy Strike, you can't go wrong with a 2, 3, or 4 in my opinion. You're just going to get a bigger bite. Keep it in your hands in pre-spring when they're looking for a big meal.
Hey, Steve wants to know about your lure retriever, which is very important. So we need to talk about that too.
I wasn't prepared to talk about that, but I got one more.
Very good point.
I'm gonna
listen. No, I don't think.
One more.
Hold on,
one
Eric.
More. In the
Eric.
You can't control me. Go ahead.
No, he brought up an extremely good point. When you have all these expensive crankbaits and you get hung up on them, I need you to talk about it at some point. Okay?
I will. Right. I might have one here. So, guys, look. You guys have seen the Hound Dog. You just, you can Google lure retriever, right? And they've got some that come on aluminum poles that have a corkscrew on the end. But the cheap one that has done me right for a long time is I get like a 3-ounce round sinker, right? Just a round sinker. And, it has the brass top to it. And I clip that brass top with a pair of snips. And then I'll put a swivel on there with a clip. And then I'll keep a couple of those in my pocket. And then I just, it's a snap swivel, right? And then I'll just pop the snap swivel off. I'll put it on my line. I'll get right above the snag. I'll have a semi-taut line. I'll drop that weight down to it. And then, lightly pop it on a semi-taut line. And usually that does pop off the snag. And I get my crankbait back. So that's a down and dirty crankbait retrieval kind of deal. Okay? So now we get to the spawn, right? Or post-spawn. I'm not really throwing a crankbait during the spawn, right? We're doing other things. But post-spawn, that's when I'm going. They're feeding up. They're garden fry. And I'll show you guys.
Post-spawn, bro.
What you got?
No? The Excaliburs.
Oh, yeah, man. Any squareable for sure, man. They're showing.
Bag of these big ones. I was going to raffle them off last night.
Nice, man. Well, you just have to wait a year.
Yep.
So, this is one of the JDM baits that I think is worth it, if you can find it. They still make it. I do believe they still make it. I think Carolina, I don't know, just Google it, guys. I'll tell you what the name of the bait is. But when do I like to spend $19 on a Japanese bait? This would be a great example of it. So, one of the actions that every crankbait maker is trying to achieve is hunting action, right? Hunting action is, no matter what the action of the bait is, most crankbaits track straight, right? The KVD 1.5 is supposedly they built in hunting action. I tried some original KVD 1.5s. I didn't see any hunting going on. That bait tracked straight back to me. Maybe I got the wrong ones and I was too late to the KVD 1.5 game. But nor did my Lucky Crafts. They basically came back straight, unless I was getting deflection, and that's when you get the bites that are triggered. So in post-spawn, when they're garden fry, right, and especially where I fish, they're on shallow wood because they spawn there, or maybe they're in the grass. I like a bladed bait. And this is an Imakatsu. It's called a wattlebat. And it's got a blade. And this is when I'm saying it's worth it for $19.95. You can find them cheaper, by the way, now. I think this has a blade that's affixed to the back of the bait, and this blade rotates when you're reeling it through the water. And this will make this bait literally pop out to the side 3 feet, not even 3 foot, I'm sorry, like a foot, come back to center, and then do the same. So it's constantly hunting, and it looks like it's fleeing from prey, and it just absolutely triggers bites. The first time I threw it, I was with my buddy Bob Cherry. I might have told this story already. I don't care. It's worth telling again. He's thrown his -1. Everybody knows I'm a -1 fan, and I'm an OG -1 fan. I like the old ones, and we can go into that a little bit if anybody wants to hear about that, how to find a better -1, because it's one of the best super shallow crankbaits ever made. This is a shallow running crankbait. It'll get to about 2 foot. And you cannot burn this bait. This is not a bait to be burned. This is a bait that you actually just let the action of the bait guide your retrieve, because it will blow out if you're really trying to burn it. So it's not going to work on your 8.5 to 1 if you're trying to burn it. But this bait, what's incredible is I threw it on wood, shallow wood. It was post-spawn, like, May-ish time frame with Bob Cherry, and he's a stick on the Potomac. The fish were on the wood. They were in it. And he was in the front of the boat, and I'm in the back of the boat. And literally, it's the first time I'm trying the bait.
Right.
So I don't know what to expect. I just knew what the bait did because I watched the video, 15 years ago, and I found it. And I'm like, I got to try it, because anybody who knows crankbaits know you want a bait.
Was it that exact bait or a different color one?
Oh no, I threw this bait that day.
Okay.
It's a blueback chartreuse with a little, and it's a matte colored bait. Mm-hmm. You heard Ryan Saltzman from Alabama Bass Guide talk about matte color. So that was new to me as well, a matte color. And so, dude, it was crazy, man. I think on the first pass I caught 7 bass. He caught none. And he was casting to the V's in the log. I mean, he's getting the prime lice. He's parallel in one big trunk of the log. And I'd go right behind him, roll it right through the V of the log, and a big 3-pounder would come out of you. I'd roll along the side of the log, and 2.5 would come out. Then we went back, and I changed to the bigger size. So they make a wattlebats, that's the regular size. And then I think I threw it in a different color. I might have been throwing Fire Tiger for the bigger one. This is the bigger bait, but it still has that right there. And this bait has worked for me. Really cold water, pre-spawn, because it's meant to be real slowly. And it worked in post-spawn. And, dude, I caught 3 snakeheads and more bass. I had to dig this lure out. If I lost the lure because I didn't have a ton, I only had a couple to try out, I would have cried at that moment because it was so special. I took this up to the Upper Bay and repeated it with my buddy Johnny Ingram in a tournament. We won that day. And he was throwing a -1, same situation. I gave him because I had more at that point, and literally both of us started catching him.
I believe the first couple times you fished it with me, you wouldn't even tell me what it was.
No, man, I like that. I'd probably, hey, man, I had to get to know you first before I'd reveal it, right? So that's a great example of a Japanese bait being worth the money because they've engineered it. They thought through the design enough to say, I'm going to impart hunting action in a bait. How do we do that, right? It's kind of like that chatterbait that I throw that hunts. It's worth it. It's worth it in my book. So what other kind of questions do we have?
What about a hellbender?
Oh, man, I don't throw a hellbender, but, probably still will catch fish. I thought we were going to go out and do a whole episode with old plugs like hellbenders, mud bugs. I mean, why wouldn't a mud bug catch a fish? Anybody still throw? I know, man. I got them ready to go. I'm so stoked about that.
I know you do.
Yeah. All right. So I did talk a little bit about the baby -1. It's one of my favorite crankbaits of all time. I'm going to show you how to tell the difference between an original baby -1. I'll use this Shad one because you can see it. So they still sell them. They're still out on eBay, and this is a great example of how a bait company ruined a legendary bait. Who remembers who made the -1 famous? It was on the Potomac River, and the guy won.
I'm guessing
he won wire to wire.
Tom Mann? I don't know. I'm joking. I don't know.
No. Dan Moorhead. Dan Moorhead won on the Potomac River on a baby -1 at a very famous bay, and he went all the way back. There was high water situation. The bass had moved way back and inside of a pad field. And then there was this little opening, and they were stacked in there. So how do you tell that it is a original baby 1-? So can you see that on the side of that bait, the lettering?
Yes.
Right? Baby 1-.
I don't, but none of mine say that.
And on the other side, it says Mans, correct?
Yep.
Okay. So you know you're getting an original one if it has both. There was a transition period where they only printed on one side, so I don't get what Mans was doing. It might have been that the mold wore out, right? So the mold was getting old, and at some point they switched their manufacturing from, I think it was here domestically, to China. And so they remade the molds. It's kind of like the story of the Wiggle Wart, right? Storm sold to Rapala, Rapala switched the molds, and the bait went to shit. They made it perfect instead of that little, defect in the bait and the seam. Anyway, when they went to remake this bait, man, the bait got wider, the lip changed, it was bigger, and it was dead. This is the widest wobbling super shallow crankbait ever made. It flat out still catches them. And by the way, in the summer, if you're fishing this crankbait, burn it. Travis, I'd love you to throw a -1 in grass in the summer with your 8.5 to 1 and burn it.
Well,
burn it. And watch them just literally try to tear the rod out of your hand on the upper bay. So there you go. I'm going to show you a Bass Pro Shops bait. That's another super shallow crankbait. This is a little sleeper bait. Probably not many people are going to know about it. I call it the egg because it looks like an egg. It's got, so the -1 has a lot of rattles. The egg has more of a one knock and a deeper, denser sound. So this is a Bass Pro Shops egg. You got to change the hooks out. These are really cheap. So I changed them to Gamakatsu number 5s. But this is a bad little dealio, man. You can still buy them at Bass Pro Shops. I forget the model, but check it out. There's a picture of it for you. That is a great super shallow crankbait for grass fisheries or anywhere you're super shallow.
What hooks are you going to start? What hooks would you change those out to?
I would change them out to Gamakatsu number 5. So I'd throw a round bend on the back and an EWG on the bottom, and I'd probably have a red hook on the bottom and my EWG bronze on the back. And there's lots of different colors. Pick your favorite color, guys. They eat it. That's a great bait, and you can burn that bait too. So now we kind of cover what, post spawn?
Yes.
Okay, cool, man. So where are we now? Are we in the summer?
We're in the summer.
Oh. What are we going to do?
Well, we don't have Alabama bass guides talking about deep cranking. We don't do a whole lot of deep cranking. We don't.
Look, man, now it's kind of up to you. Because let's say you were up north and you were in the summer, man, or we were ledge fishing.
Yeah.
You'd be deep cranking, right? You'd be cranking a what, man?
So,
a 6XD, 5XD. Guys, honestly, I don't crank deep. So that's not my thing.
Well,
that's not my forte.
And I don't have a whole lot of experience when it comes to largemouth, except in northern fisheries, so it's a little bit different. But I, again, keep things real simple.
Yeah.
I do like to crank for smallmouth, open water smallmouth. I don't care if you're in 20, 30, 40 feet of water. You run there's so many different applications. But that Spro, the Spro DD, right? What's it called? I don't have one in front of me here, but...
The rock crawler?
No. The I can't think of it. The
John Cruz?
Yeah. Why can't I think of the name?
You talking about the Little John?
The Little John. Deep dive.
Yeah, man.
Yes.
Hey, guys, that's another flat-sided bait that if you want to really catch fish, man, that Little John MD is a bad little bone crankbait, man. That is a fish-catching machine. I don't know if you guys know about that crankbait, but it's just worth going back for a second just to give a shout-out to John Cruz and Spro. So John was looking for a bait that was plastic run. Anyway, that bait is a great cold water crankbait. It's a great warmer water crankbait because it's just got great action. They nailed it at Spro. It's got a soft tungsten knocker in it. So it's a little more subtle than most of your baits, but it still makes that low resonance sound.
Sure.
And it's a snaggy bait. I'll say that. I don't love cover cranking with it. Like brush and wood. I haven't mastered how to get that bait through wood. Mm-hmm. You really got to pay attention to your retrieve if you're trying to drag that thing through wood, right?
Yeah, so I'll throw the medium one? The Little John.
MD.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll throw that quite a bit.
Yep.
Little N.
Yep.
I don't know
nice.
If you can see that.
Oh, yeah.
Little N, quite a bit. But... man, it's hard to beat a Series 5 for me. It's hard to beat a DT20 in Helsinki. Clear water. I'm just burning that thing. I don't care where you're at. You could be in a river system. You can be in the St. Clair River or Detroit River.
Right.
Or the Great Lakes. Anywhere on the Great Lakes. Chuck that thing around. Lake Erie, man.
Good stuff.
Dude, I really don't have a whole lot about. I mean, I throw 5 different crankbaits and that's it for smallmouth.
Yeah.
Deep, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm not the guy to.
Yeah, Paul Elias, man, the old Neil.
And I'd be drop shotting before I throw a crankbait.
10XD and Gizzard. All right.
However,
talk to me, man.
Shallow.
Old Line State. What do you got?
Shallow water. Smallmouth. Forget the DT6, DT10s. Let's talk about the Chippewa.
The Chippewa.
So, I haven't started throwing this until last spring.
Made by.
And I was impressed by it. Nixon.
Who makes the bait? That's right. Hiroshi Nixon. Have you ever tried his drop shot bait?
No, I haven't.
Okay, so that's what he's talking about. Nixon Lure Works. So if you guys know the journey of this guy started out in Japan, and he is just like devoted to the craft of crankbait. I got turned on to him because after I found the wattle bats, I started looking for bladed cranks. So Travis, he's got a bladed version of the Chippewa. Did you know that?
Yes.
Right. So he just came out with it. So these are his original Nixon Lure Works baits. And you see the blade in the middle of the bait? Mm-hmm. He's not doing that anymore. It costs a lot more. This is a foam bait. So he started out making foam baits, and he'd carve a master out of wood. They'd make the mold, and then he started producing them out of foam. Foam baits are very interesting to me, right? If you think about nature, a bait fish isn't hollow except for its swim bladder, right? But foam achieves the flotation without having to have any air in the bait, just like a balsa bait does, right? You've got the flotation. You know, you can put a rattle chamber in there as well. This is a silent bait, but the blade on this crankbait does make it hunt. So Hiroshi actually, achieved hunting action. And what I also find about, Nixon is look at that bill, Travis. That thing is
what the heck?
Right, man. This is like a.
What are you shoveling the bottom up with that?
This is like a 4-wheel drive crankbait, man. It is a cover cranking crankbait, and that's what Hiroshi wanted to get out of these crankbaits, is a big cover cranking crank. I mean, that's a decent sized bait, and he did make non-bladed versions too. So I don't throw these because he doesn't make them anymore. I did in the past, but when he stopped making them, I couldn't find them. They're like special, man. So I love his Chippewa bait. Travis, you threw it on the St. Lawrence, right?
Yeah. Is this
somebody? And you scored some good ones.
Somebody just sent me a message on Instagram.
All right, what do you got? Hold it down.
Is that the sun?
But which one? You're showing me.
Right there.
The red one?
Yeah.
Like the red one. No, that's not it.
None of them are?
You got to expand it, man.
I can't.
Take a screenshot and send it to me, and I'll tell you if it's in there. How's that?
All right.
So I want to get out another bait that I don't know if anybody's heard about, and I'd like to hear if you guys do. And I'm sorry I'm not answering questions because I'm trying to talk and look at the same time.
And if there was a good question, I would definitely tell you.
What I've noticed about the foam baits, I told you about the Little Earl, right, from Sudeth. And that is it's just got this tight wiggle, and you can feel it in your rod. This is a dual foamy. So it's dual, D-U-L-E. And they make different depth divers, right? So this is like the middle depth. And this is really cool. I love the lip on this bait. You guys see how thin that lip is? This bait, and it's a down angle lip. This is their deeper diver version, and they make a shallow diver version too. So I think they make 3 depth ranges. Yeah, here's the shallow version. And they make matte finishes too, which I thought was really cool. So that's the shallow version. This is the mid-level version. So you got like 3 to 5, 4 to 6, and this is probably 8 to 10. I've thrown these baits, man, and I have not found a harder thumping bait than this. It kind of reminds me, You guys know I'm a big fan of this bait, and I didn't get into it. This is one of the original Killer B2s, right? This is a DK Killer B2, and that's probably one of my favorite colors of all time that Bagley makes. It's got the lead in the lip. I'm not showing you for that purpose. This is it's got so much wiggle, it like vibrates the tip of your rod so hard. This is an awesome bait. You want to look for, if you're buying it on eBay, you want to look for the brass, all brass. This is a much smaller body style than the ones that they remade. And I'll show you the ones that they remade to show you the difference and how, like, when companies bring back baits, they don't do it exactly right. I can't believe they didn't do it right. God, pissed me off. Well, we froze for a second, man.
Yeah, we're good now. What the heck that was all about.
All right, so that's the original Killer B2 on top, and that's the remake on the bottom. Look at the size difference in the body. So Bagley took the time to bring that bait back and made it like so much bigger. Look, I've caught a ton of fish on this bait, by the way, but that old school bait, man, I hardly even throw them because these still catch them, but this is one of the hardest thumping cranks. And, you know, balsa made, but these dual foamies have that same hard thump, man. And when the fish are active, I think they respond to that aggressive wobble. It just throws a lot of vibration in the water. So anyway, check them out, man. Dual foamy. What else you got, Travis?
Well, we had a couple questions. What bait of choice for shallow cranking smallmouth down on the Tennessee River? And I just said, listen, DT 10, 14 would be my first choice. Rock crawler, wiggle wart.
Yep.
Those rock crawlers are badass, dude.
It's a great bait.
Open my eyes. Yep. I have yet to throw them on the Chesapeake, but I think I will be.
There's no reason you shouldn't, man. Wiggle warts, I've caught them on the Chesapeake, bro. They catch them everywhere. It's not just made for Tennessee River impoundments. So right?
Yesterday when I was getting ready for the auction, I went into some of my bins and I found about 15 or so, not pre-Rapala, but just normal Rapala.
Yeah.
Would you still throw them?
I don't know. Which ones?
Just not the pre-wiggle wart, but just a Rapala wiggle wart.
Yeah, man, the new ones catch them.
Yeah,
they do, man.
Maybe
look,
throw it around some rocky shit that you don't care about.
100%, and just give it a shot. Somebody asked about the old Bagley with a double line tie, and I actually pulled it out earlier tonight because I wanted to show it. How cool is that? So the position of the line tie is going to affect the action, right? Isn't that wild that they took the time to do that? That's a super rare bait right there, Travis. Have you ever seen a bait with two line ties?
No, but that was a question earlier.
There it is.
What's up with that?
When you change the pull point, it's going to change the action, right? I don't throw it because it's so rare. I'm not going to throw it. If I had a swimming pool, I'd throw it. I should go to a pond and take a video of it.
Is that the only one you own?
This is the only one I own.
Oh, wow.
I have one double line pull Bagley. There you go, man. Huh. Pretty crazy, right?
What about the Forgotten Scout?
Oh, man, the Spence Scout? Like the Bill Dance one?
I don't know. They said Scout.
With the metal lip. Yeah, man.
You got one?
Probably over there. I'd have to look at my tree. Let me look at my tree.
You need to get one because this is ridiculous, Eric. You always have the baits we're talking about. Go get it.
I don't know, man. I got to look, man. I got to look.
What are all those baits just laying on the counter for?
Just stuff. It's ideas, It's bombers. It's Lucky Crafts. It's stuff that I'm gonna paint. It's stuff that I painted. You know what I mean?
I guess, man. I don't know.
It's look. Sick, this is where I could be free, not worry about cleaning up. It's my mad scientist bass lab, man. It's where I get my inspirations, right?
Hey, so Deb
I don't have a Spence Scout or the Scout.
Most of my killer bees crack on one side. Why do you think that is?
Are you talking about your old killer bees crack the lip crack?
Probably the new ones because mine have cracked too, dude.
Yeah. Like the balsa.
Yes.
Yes, they might not have used premium balsa, man. Could have been with the way they cured it. I mean, a lot of bait makers won't tell you how they do it, but I don't know if anybody watches Marlin baits, but he'll make a bait out of wood, and then he'll put super glue all over the bait to harden it, and then he'll dip it after he paints it in his polyurethane. So cheap polyurethane, they didn't cure the bait. Bait makers that made bait out of cedar, they would soak it in something. I know that Sonny McFarland did something with the flat shad to harden the balsa, so it just wouldn't crack.
Yeah.
So he's sealing the balsa. I think Rob Cochran from Jawjacker does the same thing. He'll make the balsa, he'll seal the balsa, he'll paint the balsa, then he'll seal it again with a polyurethane. And a lot of the good stuff, which was really, really caustic, you can't get anymore, man. It's kind of like the carpet glue that they use for boats anymore. They don't use the glue that they used to because of the environmental concerns. Those forever chemicals that once they're in the environment, they never go away. Yeah, they're off the market.
Can you go a little bit into the pose, bro?
I got some pose, man. I threw some pose back in the day because, I just had to. So for me, the ones that I did well with was the RC1 and 2. It's a coffin bill bait. That's the RC2, and I believe this was the RC1. And did Rick Clun win some tournaments on it, man? See, I painted the back of that one with my color shifting technology nail polish. Can you see that turn from purple to blue, Travis?
I can.
Or purple to green? And then doctored it up with a little saucy. Yeah, man, when I threw these baits, they caught them. Why did I stop throwing them? I don't have a clue. So, yeah, I got some. And who knew that Reaction Innovations made a crankbait? Did anybody know that? I think this is it.
No.
I think this is the Method crank. Sound off if you remember this bait. I only bought a couple. And apparently, you'd have to buy 10 to find one good one. Sound off if you recognize that crankbait. The Method crank. You buy 10 and one would be good. Really? Tom, you love that? Yeah. Who remembers the Balsa Boogie from Bass Pro Shops?
No.
Yeah, so this is Balsa. It's got a really nice rattle. I like it. Tom, there you go. Yeah, I've heard of Ken Crap Balsa. So that's the Balsa Boogie, and I have an original Balsa Boogie. I put the bait out tonight for you guys to see. Where did I put it? Oh, I think I got it on the table. Now I got to find it. Oh, there it is. Maybe it was the Bayou Boogie, original name. So this is what the inspiration was.
Okay. There
you go. Check it out. You ain't even looking, bro.
I see it. I'm getting a lot of...
You must have a really good conversation going, man, because I don't know where you are.
All right, I'll show you. Look it. So
show me, bro.
All right. So I got...
What do you got?
I got Rusty Parker. People are sending me a Scout.
Okay, there's the Scout. Good show to everybody, man.
Tammy Westfall, nice. Don Westfall, they're sending me pictures, bro. I'm looking. Give me a break. Cool. People talking to me on Insta as well while I'm doing this.
I gotcha. I thought you were going to moderate.
I'm trying, but...
Seems like you're just an individual conversation, which is cool, man. Enjoy yourself. It's your show.
Hey, wait, because tomorrow is drop shot, advanced drop shot techniques.
Hey, and I'm just going to tell everybody watching, just DM the shit out of me tomorrow night, because here's what I'm going to be doing tomorrow night. Travis is going to be talking about drop shot. I'm like, yeah, what's up, Travis? I'm talking to people. What do you want from me, man? I'm totally going to do you that way. I cannot wait. I cannot wait. Oh, wait for your turn, bro. Wait for your turn.
All right. If I recover tonight, will you?
Yeah, you better start
rolling.
Plus,
I've been texting Jimmy. I'm trying to convince him to drop in and say hi here real quick.
I got you. Hey, Steve Hardy, thanks. Yeah, it was called the Balsa Boogie, not the Bayou Boogie. Thank you very much. That's right. That's right. Oh, my. Oh.
Stanford Cedar Baits.
Yeah, man. So there's a whole line of cedar baits, guys that use cedar versus balsa. There's guys that use jute longwood. There's some Australian bait makers that you can find right now that are making some really interesting baits. Stanford Cedar, I never really got into them. The cedar bait that I want to tell you about, oh my God, and they're going for big money, man. Catching Concepts. So Catching Concepts is a bait that's made out of cedar. I got some. I want to show you. Carolina Crankbait has a bunch of them, and they show them all the time, man. Oh my God, there's so much more to go over, dude. This is just impossible. Can't do it all in one night, so I'm just not even going to try.
No.
No, I'm not even trying.
You got any Pico perch?
I have a couple, and they're somewhere in one of the boxes, but I remember the name. I think they're a flat-sided bait, if I remember right.
Oh, those are flat-sided bombers, Don said.
Pico perch?
No. That he sent me.
Oh, cool. Well, yeah, the flat A. Yeah, man. It's the flat A.
Catching Concepts.
Yeah, that's the cedar one I was just talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're going for big money, man. Every time Carolina releases some, man, they just go. Apparently people love them.
Have you tried the Hickey and the Mutt clones that John Hott is making?
Yeah, there's a bunch of Hickey and Mutt clones out there. So John Hott, I just got them. I'm really excited to throw them. I'll show you a few.
You would.
What?
Nothing.
No, because, hey, man, when Hickeys and Mutts are going for $40 and $50 a piece, right? And I got plenty. I always want to try them out. So this is the Mutt 2 from John Hott. And why I got them, Travis, just so you know, is they're foiled. This is a gold foil.
All right. Bass Viper just sent me that. Is that the color you want?
That's not the color.
No.
Nope. That's a chartreuse black back, but I like that color. It's one of my favorites. So John Hott, yeah, man. I'm pretty stoked about him. We're going to see. I'll let you guys know. I'll report back later and tell you what I thought. All right. You know what? I'm just going to tune into the questions. I'm going to take a breather because I've been talking.
Please do.
How long have I been going this? I know, for 2 hours. That's crazy.
Hey, guys, in the comments, I know we want to keep talking cranks. I'm kind of like, I've heard much crankbait talk from Eric. I want to know what you guys want to learn tomorrow in our drop shot extravaganza.
Yeah?
Yeah. I do.
Okay. Oh, cool. Okay,
well, that too. Just to get me Livingstone cranks. We just sold some in the auctions. One lucky winner bought a shit ton for $25.
That's right, right? Yeah, hey, Travis, great job moderating tonight, man.
I thought I did a pretty good job, Eric.
You sucked. Completely sucked.
Dude.
Terrible. Worst moderator of all time on the show.
Whatever. What was the True Bass discount code? SmallmouthCrush, 28% off.
I do believe, man. Steve Morton said, no, I've never tried the Backstabber crankbait, man.
Are we going to talk about your lure retriever?
I already did.
Oh.
Yeah.
Where was that?
Yeah. So Eric Kimbrough talked about, do I have any idea about the Bomber Square that's bigger than the 2-inch version? Yeah. So it was, it's a balsa bait, by the way. So, yeah, I mean, I haven't thrown a lot because there are other balsas I prefer, but I think any balsa square bill by a decent maker is going to be a decent bait. So you should give it a shot, man, especially if it's cheap. Joseph, man, yeah.
Man. Power shotting shallow grass tomorrow. You have a small part in the show tomorrow, don't you?
Oh, I'll take that one on because I think I turned you onto it. So I'm going to take a little credit there and say, oh, dude, come on now. Come on, man. If I ever saw you have a drop shot rod in your hand, you had a spinning rod.
Okay.
And in shallow grass and in the fall when I was slow rolling that Jackal spinner bait, you were drop shotting. Oh, there's photo evidence of that.
I'm gonna text Jimmy real quick, see if he's ready.
Okay, man.
He's watching a movie with his wife tonight. Imagine that.
Joey Rodriguez wants to see Shad Rap models. So, hey, Steve Hardy, yeah. So I've got a few Shad Raps that were drilled out. It was a Japanese maker, and he actually inscribed his signature on the bill. So there are some people that know what they're doing. I think you can even see YouTube vids about it if you really go back and Google it. Maybe you can find it. What I found easier is using the lead wrapping around the hook shank. I achieved the same thing because all you're trying to achieve by adding lead to the belly of a crankbait is suspension, right? So you can do it one of two ways. You can wrap lead around the hook shank, either the front or the back, depending upon how you want that bait to sink, or you can use suspend dots or suspend strips, or golf lead tape, which is stickier than the suspend strips. So if you have some suspend strips, they stink, they don't stick. You just got to use super glue.
Gotcha. How about speed clips for cranks?
You know, that's a great question, man. One of my favorite speed clips are great. You know, I went back and forth for a long time to say, you know, do I really want to use a clip? But if I'm using a snap, I'll call it a snap, not a clip. A speed clip is made by Norman. I'll use the decoy egg snap. But you got to take the split ring off. You don't use both. So once you commit to taking your split ring off, it makes it easier to switch baits, right? Because I've got a snap. And then if I want to change colors or change style of bait, I'm just taking the snap off. I'm not having to retie, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. You're still retying anyway, but this is a great one. This is a super good locking snap. And I would suggest for any of you guys throwing chatterbaits that you really, really love, switch out the snaps to make sure there's something like a double locking.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah, Rapala fat wraps. I'm glad you guys asked that question. Whoever asked it, It's one of my favorite cold water crankbaits. I like the rattling fat wrap. You know, one of the first trips that Travis and I took out on the Upper Bay together, I threw the rattling fat wrap, and it's got a 1 ticker bead. It's a lazy kind of bait, and it's just dynamite, man. It catches them. It catches them. Oh, man, that's a good box, too. Good night. There's just so much to cover. It's ridiculous. Oh, for all you guys asking about the CP3, there's your CP3. And that's Craig Powers. Yep, it's a balsa bait. And that is just, Craig worked with Sonny McFarland from Flat Shad to understand bait construction, but most importantly, he understood bill angle. Sure. And so if you're looking for a good flat side that's reasonably priced, I think they had them on sale. I'll just be honest with you, I'm not trying to knock his baits, but, you know, in the early runs, they seem to be a little bit higher quality. Look, and if you're throwing a balsa bait, don't smack the bait on the water to try to get grass off or stuff off.
Who would ever do that?
Yeah, you would do that.
The first time Eric gave me one of his special baits.
Oh, my God.
Remember? And I got yelled. Yeah. I'm like, what? Dude, for real?
Yeah. So Travis was talking about the rock crawler. I think it's worthwhile showing a rock crawler versus an OG wigglewort. For me, I caught a 6 and change on this wigglewort on the Upper Bay in a tournament. That is one of my favorite colors, man. I love it. It's just hot orange on the bottom. It's that spring crawl color. I throw it in the spring and fall, and they just respond to it. And this is the rock crawler. So I want you to guys. So the rock crawler is a little bit bigger bait. Travis, can you see that?
Yes. Yep.
Slightly bigger. But what made the OG? This is an OG wigglewort. OG wigglewort. What made it special and why it can't find its center and just hunts across the bottom is that you see the seam in the lip? It's very hard to see.
I see it.
Okay,
we can see it.
That seam is uneven. And so the water flow across this bait just makes it hunt. And that's the magic of the wigglewort. It is one of the best hunting plastic production crankbaits ever made. And I'm not saying the new ones don't catch them, guys. And then I'm going to show you a rattling fat wrap because since somebody asked about it, it's one of my favorite. In hot mustard. And I'm going to give you guys a cold water tip. So I changed these out to Gamakatsu number 5s, by the way. So this is the rattling fat wrap in mustard. If I'm fishing super cold water, get with your wife and she'll know what I'm talking about. It's like a cuticle file that's like a piece of foam with like light sandpaper. You can also use light sandpaper. But just go ahead and start sanding the bait. Knock down the shine. Because in cold water, you know, who's caught a bass that looked like a ghost coming out of, 48-degree water? I have. They're white and they're faded. Well, so are the bait fish. So if you want to map to the color of the bait fish or the color of the forage, they're going to be ghosted out. So just knock down the color, knock down the shine. You'll be amazed at the difference it can make in your bite.
So I want to know about loop knots. Loop knots.
Oh, wait a minute. One more thing.
All right, I just want to loop knots. Remember that. Okay, loop knots.
Right. Okay, see on the back of that Gamakatsu number 5 how I wrap some lead around it?
Yes.
So basically what I do is I take the lead, I make it down the shank, and then I start wrapping, down or up, however you guys want to do it, and then I clip the excess off. That stays on there the whole day, does not impede the hook set. These are Gamakatsu number 5, so that's stepping up one size which will help make the bait suspend. But you'll notice I have sanded down this bait.
Yes, dull.
So now I have
very dull.
Now I have a faded crawl, right? And you can keep sanding more. Just go for it, man, until you like it.
Loop knots.
Oh my God, there's another bait.
A regular knot on crankbait. Sean had that question. Then listen, we have really a bunch of good questions here.
Yeah.
Dem Jigs wants to know. So we got to talk about the loop knots. When to do that. Yep. Also, your thoughts on putting scent on a crankbait. And
yeah.
Here's the number one question of the night, which is something I've often thought about, but really don't have an answer.
Yeah.
Why do people say tight wobble in cold water, but then the wiggle wart comes out?
You know what? That I said it earlier. You guys, I don't know that anybody heard me. I think it's just something that's been perpetuated.
Yeah.
Bait, I think the theory goes, bait is less active in colder water. But there's something about a hunting crankbait that just triggers bites. And so the wiggle wart is a hunting crankbait, right?
Yeah.
So it's that hunting action that just triggers bites. It's fleeing constantly. It's just doing this on the bottom constantly. Yeah. Look, when you're out there, you're not burning a wiggle wart. There is a great YouTube video, and I'm going to tip my hat to the master wiggle warter. All I'm going to ask you guys to do, if you want to learn about cold water cranking, I think he's from the Tennessee River. If Ryan was on, he'd probably know his name. But he's out, like, the water temp's in the 40s. It's like snowing part of the day. It's an older gentleman. He's using a 5-1-to-1 reel. You've heard me talk about slower gear retrieves. And he is just wearing them out. It's just fascinating to watch the guy. He talks about where to throw. He talks about rod action. Of course, I want, those older guys be throwing a pure fiberglass rod. So you talk about a soft action rod.
Yeah.
The bites are super light. You don't even know you got a fish on. You're cranking slow. You're pulling the bait sometimes. You're contacting the cover. You're stopping it for a split second. You're engaging the reel. The fish has inhaled the plug, and then you reel it again. The color flat A that I talked about earlier, if you can find it, there's a video of a guy throwing that color, and he talks about the flat A, and he is out on a southern impoundment early season, and he just goes into it, man, and it's just a super educational video, man. And both of those are two of my top favorite cold water cranking videos. If Jimmy comes on tonight, he can tell you about a story. I was throwing a flat A early spring. The fish were pre-spawned. They were on the outside of where their spawning bays were going to be. I was clearly cranking riprap, and I was worming a candy apple red flat A, and that's the only way they wanted to bite that bait. I was not steady reeling the bait. So basically, I'd make my cast, I'd crank the flat A down to depth, and then I would pull it forward, and then I would stop and reel up the slack. Pull it forward until I hit cover, and then I might stop it for a longer pause and then engage the reel, or maybe slightly pop it, and the fish just were biting. I caught 4-pound, 5-pound, and 6-pound fish that day.
Guys are saying Brother Todd might have made that video. Could be. I've actually...
Who's Brother Todd?
Oh, he's a cool dude. He films for the Bassmaster Elite Series, or he used to. We actually filmed a show up in Wisconsin before, but it could have been him, or we have Dave Barker.
Dave Barker. It might be Dave Barker. You'll know it. He's wearing like a red coat, and all he's doing is throwing flat A's the whole day. So it's a flat A video, guys. Yeah. So anyway, give it a shot. There's one more bait in the Lucky Craft lineup that's a sleeper bait. Jamie Newton's going to kill me for talking about it, but sorry. This is what I'm all about, man. I like to share the love. You can still find these baits, too, which is pretty cool. It's the CB series from Lucky Craft. They make it anything from a super shallow diver, but it's not that it's a super shallow diver that makes it special. So they make an 001, a 50, a 100, a 200, a 250, a 300, and a 350. But what makes this bait special? So this is like the 100. Yeah, 100. So I want you to listen to this. It is as loud as a rattle trap. So this is like a rattle trap sounding bait. It has brass, glass, and maybe steel. 3 different types of rattles. It's one of the loudest crankbaits made. And it has a wide action. You can see the bill angle is down. Mm-hmm. So I think it's the sound that they're attracted to because it sounds like a rattle trap. And who can argue with the sound of a rattle trap that's been copied by countless lipless, baits after them, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So check out the
Rapala. Guys are talking about the Rapala Risto wrap.
So that's a sneaky little bait, man. There was a guy on the Risto wrap.
We used to catch the shit out of them, dude. Walleye trolling.
Yep.
Back in the day, late 90s.
Yeah. So I'm just you should see this box.
Join your crankbaits, heck yeah. Rapala, join the 9.
Oh my God, I love that thing, man. So let me see if I can find a modified Risto for you. So there's a bait maker named, I'm looking for the Ristos from him. I might have another box, but I'll just show you one of the Bagleys. Can anybody identify this bait? I know if Tacklecraft Awnings can, but there's a dead giveaway. What is the dead giveaway, Travis? This is a Bagley.
The lip?
That's A, but what's the other signature of this bait maker?
The spot?
Yeah. What's the spot? The spot was drilled to put a rattle in. A really loud ticker, and it might have been a 22 caliber shell with a steel ball in it. So anybody know that bait maker or modifier? Dem Jig says Travis is responding to me, but E isn't answering. What was the question, Travis, from Dem Jigs?
Scent on the bait.
I've done it a little bit, and maybe in high pressure situations it would work, but what I didn't like about it was left like oil on my bait. All right, this is a Calvin Johnson. See the CJ on the tail? So Calvin Johnson would take Ristos in particular. Calvin Johnson modified Risto wraps are really, really sought down by, I think, a real super small society of crankbait nuts like me. I don't even throw these, man. The one time I did, I took out a Calvin Johnson modified DB3, which I have here. Yeah, I think it's a DB3.
Yes.
So I took that DB3 on the upper bay. I threw it and I caught 3 bass real quick, and I put it away. I've only got 3 of them, and I just don't bring a bunch of stuff out. So he did 2 modifications. So see the drill hole in the front right there? People asked me earlier about drilling and putting lead in. So he would weight the bait. So that's for suspension, right? He would drill the hole to make this loud spot for this ticker. Hear that ticker?
Yep.
So that's probably a single glass ticker. I don't think it's a metal one. There were some other bait makers that would take a 22 caliber shell and put a steel ball bearing in it, kind of like your frog that you threw down in Bama, right?
Sure.
And you talk about a loud ticker in a bait. But Calvin Johnson would modify Risto wraps, and they're highly sought after. And it was about weighting in a different build to create a different action. I'm not brave enough to modify a lip. You know what I mean? He's sawing the bill out, epoxying a new bill in from another bait, drilling a hole for lead, and putting a loud ticker in. Right. That's a lot of work, man. And you got to know what the hell you're doing.
So we had some good questions earlier about all these expensive, hard to find. Let's say you had $200 and you had to go on the Real Shots website or Tackle Warehouse or whatever.
Yeah.
And grab some crankbaits to throw around. What would they be?
Man, if I confidence baits that I know I'm going to go catch fish.
Where you got to search on eBay for hours and hours to find.
No. I would go buy some Rapala DTs. I'd buy DT6s. I might throw a couple DT4s in. I don't know what they carry, dude. What do they carry? That's your damn store, man. You talk about it.
Any of them. I'm just saying. A tackle store, an online tackle store where you need to go buy some crankbaits, dude.
Well, I just talked about it. Anything in the Rapala DT series for the depth that you fish.
Yes.
That
one. That would be it.
No, I got to think. I don't know what they have.
Any Tackle Warehouse, Norman, Little Inn.
I'm just trying. Give me a second. You know me, man. I'm always searching for that funny thing. There's a whole thing we haven't talked about. We'll do it on another show. Finesse crankbaits, because I think you're a finesse fisherman. I think you could get down with some of the finesse crankbaits that I've found over the years that, score big. I'd buy a bomber flat A.
Sure.
For sure.
Absolutely. Yep.
I'd buy a square bill. let's talk about our favorite production square bill right now.
Oh man, so, whew.
I'm not going to eBay. You're handicapping me, man.
You have to go with the Strike King 1.5 or a 1. 1.0.
Fair enough. 1.0 or 1.5 Strike King.
1.0 is a sneaky little bait that I like to throw a lot.
Very true.
Dude, I have so much confidence in baits like that. That's why I'm not saying I love all this talk. I'm not the guy that's going to spend time and energy on eBay looking for the stuff you look for. Okay? I try to keep it simple. I can't, dude.
Hey, look, man. Somebody just brought up 6 cents, man. There's some really cool baits.
I haven't thrown hardly any of them. I don't know anything about 6 cents.
Yeah,
I know you do a little bit.
Yeah, man. Little Spro, Little John MD.
Yep.
That'll get you in the flat side game, right? I mean, that's perfectly available, widely available. So now you got a nice flat side for the spring that you can go fish with. It's not a high float bait. I like to worm that bait in the spring. It's got that soft tungsten, rattle in it. It's soft tungsten rattle. You know what I mean? I would buy Shad wraps for sure from Rapala.
Yep. Lucky Crafts, any Lucky Crafts, like Jamie said.
Yeah, I mean, right. I mean, the LC series, like I just talked about, I'd get one big crankbait, and I would still try to go with some of the new Lucky Crafts. I'd probably buy a BDS3, the egg. And then I buy the egg from Bass Pro Shops. I think they corrected the problem with the Man's -1, but I wouldn't trust that the company that was selling it didn't have old inventory.
Now, this is a serious question.
Yeah.
Have you ever thrown the Coors beer can crankbait?
No, man. The Japanese guys love that stuff, though, man. They love all those crazy. If you guys
the Coors beer can crankbait?
They love all them crazy-looking crankbaits, man. Some of the crankbaits from Japan are just out of this world.
Shad wraps?
They make these. Oh, Shad wraps is in there for sure.
Yep.
Yeah, we already talked about Shad wraps,
those Excaliburs, right? Man, they.
All right, so colors. Scott Mann asked the question. So I'm throwing a Shad color. I'm throwing a crawfish color.
John, I want to know.
That's one of my favorite Bagley's. Any spring craw color. Just let me finish, please.
Why is John calling 6 cents thieves?
And then look, a dirty watercolor. Chartreuse and black back. Chartreuse and black back.
Yes.
Chartreuse and black back.
Yes.
So you got your shad, your crawfish, and a chartreuse and black back. That's all you need, man. And then you know what? Early spring, throw a red in there for yourself. I know.
Why are guys calling 6 cents thieves? What's that mean?
I think people get upset when bait companies knock off other lure companies' designs. I don't know. I don't throw a lot of 6 cents.
Here's the deal. Everything's like, even with plastics, you work off of what's the best plastics out there. So a swim bait's going to be a Kitech. So you're going to have a lot of different Kitech baits. When a company launches their own line and they want to expand and go into a swim bait, they're going to model after something like that. Maybe be a little cheaper. Maybe say it's more durable. Things like that to help with sales. Yeah. So that goes on in everything. It's just when you expand your line.
Yeah. So Dim Jigs asked about why red. I don't know, man. It just freaking works. All I know is on the Potomac and Upper Bay and my fisheries, when those crawls first come out, man, they're like black and they've got some red tint to them. In a full moon, I swear you're gonna laugh at me, man. Like, I'll be on the Potomac during a full moon in the summertime. That's why you don't put your red down. In the summertime. And those crawfish are bright fire engine red / orange. It's like they've been boiled. It's like a boiled crawfish color when they're sloughing during a full moon. Isn't that crazy?
I use red year round. I don't care.
That's what I'm saying. Don't put it down.
No.
But they especially like it in the spawn.
Sure.
A kicker orange blade on a spinnerbait you can't go wrong with, right? Muddy water. Yeah, man. Old Line State Poppy, Conowingo cranking. I'm going to give you a little gem, man, because I'm not going to be fishing against you up there. I'm going to give you my top bait on Conowingo in the fall.
Jackal Blink has been brought up a few times in the comments. I have a bunch of them. I use them.
Yeah, they're awesome. They're hard to find, man, like impossible. So here you go. Here's a little Conowingo tip for you guys. I know somebody's going to hate me because I don't know that anybody knows about it. But I'm just going to give it up. This would have been in my lipless episode. So this is a Bass Pro Shops bait, and this is not the color. I'd have to dig to find the color because it's probably in my box. It has an olive back. That's all you need to remember. Get the one with the olive back. In Conowingo, in the fall, there are millions of shad that look like the olive back one. It has a similar kind of sheen white to it.
I like that color right there.
Yeah, it's a white perch color. And I'll say no more because I'm keeping that one to myself. But anyway, you can throw it on a spinner rod. You can throw it on a bait caster. It's 3/8 of an ounce. I don't know that it's a true 3/8 of an ounce, but that is a small trap for that size. The smallmouth up there will, and I mean big smallmouth and largemouth, won't leave that alone. That's in my finesse series talk. If we ever do talk finesse cranking, that would be one of my finesse series cranking talks. And you could throw that on the upper bay when the bay anchovies get around. You could throw that in the summertime because, you know, everybody's thinking traps in the spring. Don't put your trap down. And don't forget about the little finesse trap. That will get you a big bite. There you go, man.
David keeps saying Shizzle Color KVD. I have no idea what that is, but I will write that down. I'm going to write it down. I'm going to write it down.
Will Perryman, no, I don't use a loop knot on crankbaits. I don't use a loop knot on crankbaits. I've used a loop knot on a spook.
I mean, I'll throw a loop. I'll throw a loop if I'm too lazy. If a bait doesn't come with a O-ring, I'll put a loop on it instead.
That's what I do. What kind of loop knot do you throw?
I don't know.
We'd have to. I don't know what mine's called either.
No.
Good crankbait rods, cheap to expensive. Okay. I like the Kistler feeling real. What's expensive? Is 200 and something? Are they 200 and something? Oh, the Shimano X Pride. I think that's a reasonably priced good cranking stick. Look for a composite stick. Oh, Brandon, that was the Bass Pro Shops rattle trap style bait. I was looking for sungill or sun perch, one of those two. I get confused. Now you got me questioning myself. Sun perch. I think it was called sun perch. Wow. Yeah, there you go, Evan. I agree. Zodiac and X-Pride, glass rod, great. Damn good.
So I use the 704, 705, and the 765 from Dobbins. I do like a fiberglass rod when I'm cranking.
Yeah, I'll throw on fluorocarbon. How heavy? You know, my smaller baits, I'll go down to 8 for my balsa flat sides, my shad
12 is my typical line size.
12 is a great line size, and if I'm really cover cranking, all the way up to 20. Michael Minmal says, yes, sun perch. Now, somebody find me a sun perch, please. Or somebody who actually can frickin' paint it. All right, what else we got, man? A lot of good questions, man. Wow, they fly in, dude. Woo! Gear ratios versus depth of crankbait. Travis, why don't you take that one?
Well,
because you were struggling throwing big baits the first time you fished them at Gunnersville, right? You had a brace on because your arm hurt so bad.
Yeah. So a deep diving crankbait if I'm using like a Series 6 or a DT20, I'm gonna throw in a 5 to 4. But anything else, I'm 8 to 5, and I control the crank. I slow it down.
Whatever, dude.
Whatever.
Travis and I will never agree on that one. That's fine. You're a KVD disciple, clearly.
I'm just saying what works for me, man.
No, you just changed to that. You never used to 5 with an 8.5 to 1. So what changed your mind?
I've always had high speed. Before 8 to 5, it was 7. 7.2 to 1.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay.
But why did you move to 8 to 5?
Because I got annoyed when I would pick up a 6 to 2.
Yeah.
Which I still have a few. When I bought my new Shimanos last year, I got a handful of 6 to 2. So on my crank rods right now, for full disclosure, I do have 6 to 2s on them.
Oh, so there we go. You were fighting me on that.
But it drives me nuts, and I'm going back to 8 to 5s. On my next go around, when I trade these reels in, I will never have another 6 to 2 in my lineup. Sorry.
Fair enough, man. Yeah, Taylor Wilmoth, go-to flat side. Talked about it earlier, but it's worth mentioning again. If it's balsa, it's going to be CP3. It's going to be a jawjacker. I love a bunch of his flat sides. I told you about one of the colors I love. If you can find it, it's called Sneaky. And then, Zoom Mutt.
Too fast, Travis. I just slow it down, you guys. I can slow it down.
I'm going to show you a couple gems, and I wonder if anybody's ever heard. Oh man, you know what? I forgot to talk about a couple baits. Here's a little legend for you. So I don't know how many people know about Jerry Lohrs, Lohrs.
Sorry.
And this is in my finesse crankbait talk one day. We'll dive into the finesse cranks. But this bait is called the Little Speedy. Little Speedy. That is a funky looking bait with a funky bill. Round bill.
Eric.
Round, not square.
Is that sun perch?
No.
No.
So round, not square. Round, not square. So this is a Worman crankbait. This was remade by Pete Gluzik and a gentleman up in Pennsylvania named Bob Allen. So Bob Allen recreated the Little Speedy. And I don't think Bob's making baits anymore. So that's the original Little Speedy. That's the Bob Allen Little Speedy. He got the bill angle right. He did weight the bait right. The body shape's a little, but it doesn't matter. This bait behaves exactly like it should. So when you're worming the Little Speedy, if you pause this bait and flick your rod tip, the bait will do a 180 and turn right around at whatever's lurking in that cover.
Come on.
Whatever, dude. Whatever.
Come on.
You've never even thrown it. You have
Get
no
out
clue.
Of here.
You have no clue. Mike Iaconelli loved the Little Speedy so much, and so when I go fishing with him in the fall, what do you think I'm going to bring out? I'll bring out some Little Speedies, and you'll watch the film, and you'll hear the conversation.
All right.
Now that we've got it on film here, you can compare it to when we go out. So I'm about to bust the chops big time. Don't get in my cranking game, bro. You can't even. Don't start. So Mike Iaconelli went to Mann's and said, can you make me a Little Speedy? So here's Bob Allen's Little Speedy. Here's Jerry Lohrs' Little Speedy. And this is the Mann's Little Speedy.
You're too fast.
All right, I'll do it again. All right, so that's the original Jerry Lohrs' Little Speedy on top. And this is the Mann's plastic remake called the Thin Man of the Little Speedy. You might still be able to find this bait. Here's the problem with this bait. I probably have 50. And the reason I bought 50, why did I buy 50? Not because I had to have 50, because I bought a couple. One sank, one suspended, and one was high float. They really couldn't get the weighting right, or they just rushed the manufacturing through. I busted open up the package. So where is this made? Hold on. It doesn't have origin of manufacturers, but you can see it's the Mann's Thin Man. This is baby bass. But this is an amazing bait through wood if you finesse crank it. But you got to pay attention. Do you have one that sinks? Do you have one that suspends? That's not a bad thing. Or do you have one that floats? They were very inconsistent. So I'd take these and I'd paint them up with nail polish. I probably lost one of the biggest upper bay basses of my life. Pre-spawn. They were on the wood, off the bank. The bucks were up. The females were off. I was thrown parallel in about 4 to 6 foot of water, worming this thing through the wood. I hooked the bass with my buddy Johnny Ingram. The fish charges me. Literally, I control the fish at the boat. He dives under the boat. I hit the deck, engage my spool, thumb the drag. The fish pops out, makes a run towards the front of the boat, again towards the back of the boat. My buddy Johnny gets him in the net. It looked to be about 8 pounds. He goes to pull up the net, and the hoop of the net fell off the handle. He'd been crabbing with it the week before, and I lost the bass. I painted one of the other colors that I had in a kind of like a copper crawl with an orange belly, and we lost that bass. We later came back. I caught a 6-8 that day for Big Bass of the Year in the team trail, and we had 17 pounds. We should have had like 26 because he lost a giant. I lost another giant that day flipping a tube. And that's the story of the Thin Man, which is fashioned after the Little Speedy on the bottom and the Bob Allen Pete Gluzik collaboration, the Dean of Bass Fishing, called the Silent Killer. Susquehanna Tackle used to sell it. I don't think they got it anymore, but if you can find Pete Gluzik's Silent Killer, that's not sun perch. Let me see it again. Or sun gill. Nope. No, man, I'm not seeing it. No, maybe maybe it's sun gill. I don't know. I got the color wrong, but I'm going to show everybody a picture. I'll find it. Damn it. All right. I think that's all I got, man. I might be talked out.
No, you did a good job. But you forgot about the bandits, Brohim.
I got the bandits. I answered that earlier, man. I mean, look, bandits are awesome, dude. Especially I like the originals. I know everybody gets in my
Jawjacker the show.
We already talked about the Jawjacker,
well,
bro.
Somebody's looking for one.
You want me to show some Jawjackers?
Where do you recommend balsa crank repair?
Man, that's a hard one. They were asking me that question the other day, and I tried to answer it. Dave's Custom Baits.
How about this?
Wait a minute. Dave's Custom Baits.
Is that the color?
No.
All right, he's going to bed.
All right.
Whoever.
You got me turned around, man. I don't know, man. What did you ask me about, man? All right, Jawjacker.
Rebels.
Jawjacker.
No.
Jawjacker. No, man, we're not doing this. Jawjacker. That's my color. I love it. It's called Sneaky. Go get some. It's a flat side. I'm digging Rock Cochran. He makes the best. You could probably find him for $19.95 on eBay.
Wow.
Yeah. Maybe $16.95 on sale. Yeah, anyway. I know. Come on, man. 30 minutes for the color. I'm trying to find my
They found it.
What?
They found it. I don't know. Ready?
Man, you gotta. I can't even see that color.
Let's just wait.
That's not it.
No.
You're gonna make me find it?
Forget it.
All right, man. Dem jigs, man. Bandits. All right, guys. Look, bandits. Unbelievable bait, right? Wouldn't you agree, man? Bandit 100, Bandit 200, man. Splatterback, anything. Great bait. Yay, no.
Yes. Splatter.
And so
bag.
Look, how do you identify an old bandit? Travis, do you know? Because I do.
The hooks.
No. Nope. Try again. I'm looking for my bandits, man. Let me get my bandit box out. I'll show you.
You take a black light to it.
Nope. Good. That was a good guess, though, man.
You heat it up in the microwave for 30 seconds, and then you put it in a boiling pot of water. If it sinks, you have an old one.
No, that's not it, man. But that's funny.
Well, shit, bro. I don't know. You can tell how much time I spend on crankbaits.
I had a guy try to recreate the sun gill. Let me see if I can find that on this damn Bomber Flat A because I got everybody jammed up on it. I'm jammed up on it now. Now you got me digging around my damn room, man. Hold on. Bomber, one knocker, wiggle warts. I know I got it here.
Hey, make some more noise.
I'm trying.
Oh, man. So, Jimmy says he's sorry, but he's in bed, man. He's got to cut lawns tomorrow.
All right, here's the old school bandit. And here's the new school bandit. I had to go deep for you guys, man. I want to educate people because that's what I'm about, man.
Go deep, bro.
Man, I'm going deep for the crowd, dude. I'm on my hands and knees.
Where you at? You're always on your hands and knees.
Yeah, baby, praying. I think I'm frozen on the screen.
You're fine.
That's not good.
You're fine.
No, man, look. Am I frozen?
No.
Oh, people can still see me? Can you translate that for me?
No, I can't.
Look, when I buy lures from
Japan...
Oh,
you got the big bass crankbait.
All right, my bandit box.
You don't like my Japanese?
Bandit box, here we go.
I do a really good Japanese imitation, by the way.
Do you really?
When I'm cranking.
All right.
Or throwing my OSP.
I'll get one of my favorite.
Shaky shaker.
One of my favorite new bandit colors, and it is a matte crawl. And it's a matte spring crawl, in my opinion. So that's Matt, right? So you see how I got my, I eat my own salad food, man. I got my EWG and then my round bend, right? Okay, so that's my Matt Crow. Oh, that is a new bandit. Look at the eye. And then I'm going to show you an old bandit.
Okay.
Some people prefer the old ones. Once again, it's the conversation about the plastic, blah, blah, blah. New bandits frickin' catch them too, man. Like, they're really good. Mm-hmm. But the old bandits, so here's how you know you got an old bandit. Right? Because sometimes the new bandits, they did come with EWGs, right? I mean, that's a must-have triple grip, right? Look at the eye on that one. Do you see it?
Yes.
Now look at the eye on this one. Much bigger, right?
Okay.
So that's how you identify an old bandit. A much smaller eye versus the big eye. That's the one way. They're great baits, man. It doesn't matter. Don't go looking for the old ones. If you really feel like some of them are better, fine. You can find faded colors in the old ones. You can find colors that are out of production in the old ones. But that's an old versus a new, and it's all about the eyes. The bait hasn't changed. It's a fish catching machine, man. And if I was just going to own one, it'd be the 200. There you go.
M. Jones was right.
What he's saying. In this form, man, that's for faux a show. You know what I'm going to do? Hold on. I'm going to do one more thing. I want to hear something. I'm going to rattle. This is the old, and this is the new. Very, very, very similar sound.
Mm-hmm.
Old. Got to take my ear thingy off. New. All right. The new one has a little higher resonance. Maybe that's the magic. I don't know. Once again, density of plastic. Who knows, man? But who cares? The new ones frickin' catch them. Oh, you know about this one, Travis?
What do you think about the crankbait that's colored on one side different than the other?
Yeah, the mistake.
Yeah.
That's a cool concept. I own a few. You know, it's kind of like throwing two colors at once. Mm-hmm. Why not paint all your crankbaits like that?
I know, right?
Right? I mean, shad and bluegill are always present, you know. That would be weird. Crawfish on one side, shad on the other.
Dude, I love it.
It's like Two-Face in Batman. Tommy Lee Jones, man.
I don't know.
He was Two-Face.
Okay.
All right. So I think the last thing I'm going to try to do is find that dang sun perch color. Man, there's so many more crankbaits that we didn't cover. I could just tell you. We could do this for an entire year.
Really?
Oh, my God. Are you kidding me, man?
And hear the same stories?
No, there'd be different stories, man. Like on Finesse Crankbait stories, you haven't heard any of them. There's a million stories, bro. I think you experienced the story, right?
I have.
You have, right? I opened your eyes to a couple stories.
Yes, I'm in.
Oh, I definitely opened your eyes to flat side stories. I opened your eyes to frickin' Shad Wrap weighted stories. Oh, yeah. We filmed it. That's the cool part. We filmed some of the stories together.
Yes, yes.
For your eye openings. So, anyway, let me try to find it on my phone. And you entertain the crowd. How's that?
Yeah, so which side would you put the crawfish on, the right or the left?
I don't think it matters, man.
Oh, they want us to go till midnight. They need 7 days of midnight crush. I don't know about that.
I don't think so.
I'll tell you what, tomorrow I'm going to try to be on my game. I'm going to try to sneak away and go perch fishing tomorrow. But after that, I'll get back and hopefully we can talk in-depth drop shotting because there is a lot I want to cover. A lot.
I found it.
You did not. How would you find it that quick and nobody else did? 8:30 it starts tomorrow, guys.
So, Ot de Foe. Man, I don't even know if I should show this. I got to show it quick. So, Ot de Foe, as you guys know, has a new bait coming out called the Slim Shad, right? And Ot de Foe won the most recent MLF. In part by throwing a new color in a current bait, not the Slim Shad. So on the deck of his boat, he had a DT painted in the color that I've been talking about. And this is a gift to everybody. Because if Ot de Foe took the time to get some of his DTs painted this color, I'm sure there's going to be a bunch of people screenshotting this, by the way, right now. So,
all right, I'm gonna give you full screen.
You want me to do it?
No, don't. Yes, you have to.
All right, I will. Man, giving up the ghost.
Right now would be an awesome time to say, until next time, see you guys on the water.
Which one is it?
Man, it's really hard to tell. The bottom color looks really bright yellow.
That's it. That's it, guys. That's it. Showed it.
That was the suspense all night.
That's it, man. It's a great dirty watercolor. There you go. That's the one I was hunting for. Now, that's not an original. That's a repaint. Just so you know.
Yeah.
Okay? Yep. And I was trying to find the flat A. Oh, there's the guy. No, that's not the guy. All right. Any other questions, Travis?
Yeah, Jimmy T's spot on. I will be drop shotting for perch.
Oh, yeah, man. What do you use?
Just any little piece of plastic.
Really?
Last week I used a Dream Shot that I just cut.
Yeah.
Trimmed down. I put it in an air fryer. I put gluten-free bread crumbs, some spices, and then organic tartar sauce, bro.
Yeah?
Legit.
Nice. Jamie Newton's asking about that hybrid hunter, formerly Strike Pro Bubba's. Jamie, I might have one, but I ain't showing it tonight. I can't wait for 6 Cents. Oh, no, I'm sorry, Strike King to bring out the new one. You don't know nothing about it.
I don't know.
Custom lemon sherbet flat A. I've been swimming for 3 times, M. Jones. Well, yeah, man. I hear you on that one, bro. If I had an OG, I would swim for it, man. Profound Z-Boss. Yeah, man. I mean, that's a good one. Oh, no, David Brown. Gluzik lost a dozen of your Bob Allen cranks? That's painful, man.
Ooh.
Yeah, Dan, don't worry about it, man. I will totally suck at moderating spar during the drop shot snooze fest. You can count on that, man.
Oh, man.
Thank you, David. This is my favorite Shimano hat.
I think guys are going to dig the drop shot class tomorrow.
We'll see, man. Just roll on, bro. You are a master drop shotter, man.
I love it.
Yeah. I wish you would just admit that I taught you one thing about drop shotting. I just opened your eyes, dude.
I started drop shotting with a bait caster because of you.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, man. And I learned a lot from drop shotting from you when you talk to me when we're out.
I don't like to talk when I'm on.
Contrary to what you guys might think, Travis is very different when he's not on the show.
I am.
He is very quiet. He can be a little surly. Yeah, I'll do an imitation of Travis. Yo, I don't know.
I don't know.
What's going on, Travis? Look, sorry, man. I've just been busy. What have you been doing?
Organizing.
This is what he's been telling me for 4 straight weeks. Why aren't you creating more content? I'm organizing tackle, bro. You can eat off of his floor, guys. There's just no way he can organize anymore. It must be content avoidance or something, man.
I don't know, dude.
There it is. That's a flavor, but it's a little slower and a little more surly in the morning. What's up? Yeah, that's him. Jay Headfish. He knows.
Except when I turn the camera on. Yo, it's SmallmouthCrush. Here we are in Chesapeake Bay. Let's see if we can catch some fish. Camera's off. Fuck, now what are we going to do?
Yeah. Yep. Exactly, man. Wow. Sorry, Evan Carlson. Oh, my God. Maniac on a boat throwing $700 combos around. Damn it! I love when he loses a big one in a derby.
Steve Hardy, yes, we are going to break down the hooks, everything, for sure.
Totally. To Lee. Man. Well,
it's not bipolar, guys. It's, I don't know what, maybe it is. I don't take pills for it or anything.
Chris Rickert, it is a deep flat A, man. My favorite. Hey, look, don't sleep on the shallow flat A either, man. It's a great cold water bait.
Kevin goes, when I took Kevin, so when I guide, I try to talk. I'm not quiet when I try to explain things. I'm not like a dick when I guide. I'm more competitive when I'm tournament fishing, or if I'm with someone I know and we're just out fun fishing. I'm kind of focused more.
Right.
When I'm guiding, I'm a lot more open. You're not going to get the mean Travis when I guide. I hope not.
No, right. So there is a mean Travis up in you somewhere.
Sure, dude. When I want to catch some fish, dude, and I get pissed when you make me fish these shitholes sometimes. Like, what are we doing here, dude?
Here's the thing, man. Travis, anything other than up north is a shithole to Travis, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty much, man. Don G wants to trade that Bagley Killer B3 with a double line time Fire Tiger for a mutt.
Ooh.
Well, I got to throw the double line Fire Tiger to see what it's all about. I know, man. Oh my gosh, he's doing it right now.
Wow, we could.
Oh, no doubt.
What would we do tomorrow?
You do backseat. Wait, Rich Shackles, do you backseat your clients?
No, I'm in the back seat,
dude. That's funny, man. I love watching Travis Hookset. He gets on his toes. Truly does. He's a very violent caster and hook setter. And you watch me with him, I'm landing like 8-pounders and 7-pounders and 6s, doing nothing but just, I'm chill. Wouldn't you agree? There's no drama with me. I'm not throwing my rods anywhere.
You have to get down your belly to land a fish.
Yeah, you don't like the way I land fish.
No.
I know you don't like that, man. You don't like that, man. Somebody's asking about the scatter wrap. You know, hey, O-Line State Poppy, man. I tried throwing that scatter wrap, and I liked it, actually.
Codfish, what's up? Codfish in the house.
Codfish in the house. Yeah, I threw a scatter wrap a little bit, man. What I found was I couldn't overpower the bait. Couldn't really grind it fast. But if I reeled it slow, like I was fall cranking, the water was cooling off, the shad kind of migration was done, so maybe it was late fall. And that thing does hunt, man. It does hunt, but you cannot reel it too fast or it blows out. So if I had the need to burn it, I couldn't. And that's probably why I didn't keep it on my line. I caught a few.
I cast over my clients with a drop shot.
Remember that one time we went on my boat and you were just like totally frustrated in the back? You couldn't take it. I was catching those flat side fish. You were having a problem. Big time. You didn't like it. And then I was slow rolling that spinner bait and whacking them. You were drop shotting.
No, so Sean kind of brought up a good point. So with Eric, the only issue I have with Eric is the why you have to lay or go into the seat and lay on your belly to land a 2-pounder, and
2-pounder,
and any junk fish that you catch, it's instant slime on my carpet, regardless. Whatever it is.
I do that on purpose.
It's landing on the carpet, bro.
Totally doing it on purpose, man, just to get you going, dude. And I now will sit down for every fish, even if it's a 1-pounder, man. And I will call Giant so you pick up the camera. It's just going to happen now.
Oh, jeez.
More than ever, man. And why would you care how I land a fish? See, that's the thing about you, man. I'm totally cool.
Because it's hard for me to get a good video angle with you sometimes.
Oh, is that
it's all camera, dude.
Oh, just
listen. You saw me on Wilson boat flip 6s like I do it every day.
Yeah, I got you.
I don't do it every day, but it's to me, it's, I don't know. I like the, I don't know.
So here's what I'll do. I'll let you do the boat flipping, and people can listen to you jawing about me the way I land my fish. That makes great video. It'd be just boring, yeah. So, hey, I'll try to boat flip a couple for you next time. How's that?
That would be nice to see you do that.
I'll do it.
And then you always have an unusual way of letting your fish go while we're on the topic. So you do the toss,
what do I do? Yeah.
The toss, but the flip, so the fish lands head down instead of tail down.
I want them to go head down because it puts oxygen into them. I'm pretty good at it.
I think they're fine. But I noticed that a lot, all your videos.
Yeah, I would.
The twist with the wrist.
Yeah, I would totally get. Yeah, you really are watching me. You watch me like a hawk.
I know exactly what you do, dude.
Oh, and I'm watching you like a hawk too, bro. I got you down, man. I know what you did last summer, Travis. Just you remember.
Okay.
When does a bait become too valuable to fish? Steve Hardy asked the question. Man, that's a good question. Travis, why did you retire your 1.5, man?
Sentimental reasons, just experience I've had with the bait. So I have a topwater bait, Pop an Image Junior, that I only throw during tournaments. I have a black spook that only comes out during tournaments. And if I was to lose them, it would suck. You know what I mean? So for me, it's all sentimental. It's memories that you've had with that bait.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I guess if I fished more, I'd probably retire some baits, but I truly don't fish a ton. I know that sounds disappointing, but, you know, I run a small business and I just got responsibilities, unlike Travis. I mean, I'd like to fish every day. That's coming soon, man. Since I've only got 7 more spawns left, I got to get on it.
The YOLO trip.
Yes, the YOLO Bass Tour, bro. It's coming. It's coming. Yeah, that's so true, David Shad. For sure, man. All right, color and mega
season. I hate cottonwood season.
Hey, what color Mega Bass 110 would you throw if you could only have one? Is it a solid color or is it
Pro blue? Pro blue.
Oh wow, that's a great one.
Or bone, like a bone color.
I think the Pro blue is the right choice.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. No question about it.
Yeah. That's funny.
What?
Oh, the comments. So a nice, good record. Not a record crowd, but a pretty good crowd. Of course, we're never going to top the live auction that we had last.
Oh, no. I mean, people were coming because you basically clickbaited everybody and said that I was selling all my lures.
I did.
So, yeah, that was pure clickbait, man. You forced me into selling some lures last night. Just so everybody knows, I had no intention of selling anything. And Travis was like, you have to now. And I'm like, why? And then I looked at the videos thing. It's like, Eric is selling all his lures.
Pro blue is a cop-out. Come on.
Oh, all right.
He's a mega bass freak.
Who is?
So, McFarland.
Oh, really?
Yeah. What do you guys do when you have to use a bathroom while fishing? I whip it out when he doesn't know. I go in the back real quietly.
That's right. Well, I'm back there, so I know. I switched to the front, bro.
I make you get up front more. I don't like it when you fish back there. For one, it's always in the way of the camera. I prefer you to be up front and not be nervous.
Okay, I would be up front with you. So here's the deal.
Okay.
You actually have the perfect guy to fish up front with you. And why is that? Because I reel left-handed with my bait caster, and I can also cast over my left shoulder, so my bait never gets near your head. Meanwhile, if I'm anywhere near you, you're casting directly over your head, and you did hit me on the St. Lawrence and drew blood.
One time.
I have bled for the show.
One time.
Right? One time. I don't want it to be another time.
Dude, that's the first time I've ever hooked anybody, and I didn't even hook you. I glazed you. I skin hooked you.
Dude, that thing would have been the violence in which you cast. You are the least smoothest caster I've ever met in my life. Yeah. It is like a frenzy up there. You make me nervous. I can't concentrate on fishing. You want me to do it for the video. I get that. We got to make good film, man. But you know what? How about I buy another GoPro and I point it at me so I have to worry about it and you get good footage all day long? I'll donate. You want it? No problem. Just so I can fish safely.
Yeah.
I'm happy to make the donation. 100%. I'll have my own mic. I'll mic myself up. I'll buy my own equipment. Bring it there. You could.
Uh-oh.
2 GoPros. Yeah. That way I don't have to worry about I'm pushing around a stick all day. And then if I'm up front, I'm taking my eyeballs and my head into your hands, which makes me nervous. You're violent. Dude, you like put English on every cast like you're trying to like set a world record. Hey, it just makes sense to me.
What's your favorite nail polish for painting crankbaits?
All right, so I'm a big Sally Hansen fan. Somebody asked me the question earlier on Insta, just DM'd me. If I'm doing clear coat over the top, it's going to be Sally Hansen extreme hard as nails. And then you know what? I'll buy any color I want. Essie, ESSIE, has the best glitter polish out there. They've got some really cool sheens. Sally Hansen's got a lot of the good opaque colors that I like. I don't like fast drying. Because if I'm trying to paint wet into wet to blend like a chartreuse and an orange to make a spring crawl, I don't want it drying too fast. So, you know, any nail polish will work. Any nail polish. Yes. I use a lot of Sally Hansen. Yeah. Yeah, so anyway, Travis, if you could learn actually to cast over your right shoulder, because when I'm up there casting over my left shoulder.
I do.
No, you don't. It is totally like I can't be on your right side. So if we're parallel on the bank, there's just no reason for me to be up front with you. I won't do it. You're gonna have to find somebody else.
That was the first time I've hit you, and that's the first time I've ever hit anybody.
And it'll be the last time you hit me.
Yeah, we can be up front. We get up front.
Well, what's wrong with having a second camera, so we could use all 21 feet of the boat? I don't want to be up there when a tungsten weight comes flying. I don't want to be up there when you miss.
Scared. You don't want to be in 4-footers or more. You don't want to go offshore.
No problem. I'm a pussy. I said it. Now what? I don't give a damn. No, I don't want to be in. You know what? I don't want to go out there. I'm not interested.
Mm-hmm.
I like nice flat water. St. Lawrence was perfect, man.
Do people look at you funny buying nail polish prior to the 75 genders now? I'll tell you a funny story. So last year, when Eric got me involved in painting and, you know, doing a few different things in my crankbaits, I went to Target. I had you on FaceTime.
Yeah, FaceTime.
And there's these chicks. I'm in the aisle, right? And I'm going like this to the fingernail polish. And he's like, oh, that's a good color. You should grab that one. I have a little mini basket full of fingernail polish. I felt, you know, I don't know. I'm at the point now where I don't really care. I do. I felt pretty foolish at the checkout line, dude. The self-checkout.
Yeah, so what I do sometimes is if somebody's giving me the funny eye, I go, what, you think this is for me? Or for my wife? And they go, does your wife trust you buying these colors for her? And I go, no, I paint my lures with them. And they go, no, you don't. And I'm like, yes, I do. Let me show you. And I show them. And then they'll sometimes, if it's slow, they'll call other girls over. Look at what this guy does with nail polish. Just show them a picture of a crankbait.
Really?
Yeah, hell yeah, man. I show them the one where I took it for my Instagram, where I had the crankbait and the nail polish in the background. Yeah, man.
Well, I'll tell you what. In the part of the country I live, if there's a chick in Target that even knows what fishing is, that's rare.
Yeah.
So.
Hey, Justin Martindale asked, how do I do color shift? I'll show you. You just buy it. There are lots of colors out there in nail polish that have color shift. And so it's really cool, man, because you could do some really neat stuff with color shift and technology. Yeah. What are you laughing at?
Just some of the comments.
What do you mean?
Nothing. I'm so glad they're a little more calmer tonight. You know, we have to throw it in there. Every once in a while, we got to give you a crazy-ass video like last night, and sometimes we got to be real. But yeah. I think it helps. Jimmy kind of throws us off, Eric.
Yeah, well, he does. I love it.
I mean, I like it, too. I'm just saying.
So this is a Sally Hansen salon color called Black and Blue. And so it's got green and purple. Can you see it shifting? Can you see it shift? Can you see it shift? It's hard to show color shift. But trust me, it's green and purple. Green and purple. And it's called... blue, color 581. I love this color. And then, I'm a big purplescent kind of guy. I'll give you another color I really, really love because I added to my Shad baits. This is probably when I'm going to doctor up Sean's flat A's that I got to send him. Let's get digital. $6.69. It's gel, Sally Hansen gel. Let's get digital. $6.69. It's a purplescent blue. That's a bad mamma jamma, man. Add that to any shad color crankbait. You'll be thanking me. How about that?
Oh, man.
That was nice. Yeah. Man, so many things to talk about. Wow, this room's a wreck. If it wasn't already a wreck, it's a wreck now. You gotta get on it, dude. I
know, I got so much organizing to do tomorrow. It's unreal.
For real.
Saying, I do.
You're just saying that, man. That's just so stupid.
I do.
Sean Lai, Eric has more knowledge about nail polish than the Vietnamese ladies at the nail salon. What a bad motherfucker. Oh my God, Sean, you got it, man. I'm gonna put those in the vise tomorrow, man. I had to fairy dust. Everybody wants to know about that fairy dust. Yeah, Bevy Shad, David Brown. No question about it, man. Bevy Shad's a cool little crank, man. And like a jerkbait too. So it's like one of those transition cranks that Travis had a hard time understanding. I'll go back to the flap slap.
What are you talking about?
Well, you didn't understand the bait, right? So that's a flap slap, which can be cranked, and it can be fished like a jerk bait.
Yes.
If you don't overpower the bait, you're actually like paying attention to what the bait's doing. So like, look, guys, any of the baits that we told you about tonight, pay attention to how they're operating. Look at it. Go to some clear water when you're jerking it, or when you're cranking it, or when, you know, that tip I was telling you about when I worm a crankbait. If I stop it and snap the tip a little bit, what does the crankbait do? Does it spin around? Does it come forward? Are you pulling away from the cover? Does it do something special? Anyway, so that's a great question. The Bevy Shad can be cranked. And there was another Lucky Craft crankbait called the U.S. Shad, which is a transitional crankbait. It can be fished like a jerkbait or a crankbait. Pretty cool.
Right,
but, you know, I mean, this bait was designed about what? What were they thinking about? What did that resemble? Let me get you a better example. You should know this forage.
An alewife?
No, man, a threadfin shad. This was designed after the threadfin shad. So
I gotcha.
It's unlike anything you see, right? It's not long and skinny like a shiner, right? It's high-backed like a threadfin shad.
Ah.
Yeah, man.
Ah, now.
Yeah, now you get it. Right, so, and don't sleep on this bait for pre-spawn. This is this little dude all year long, dude. Man, this can get you some good bites. The shallow diving one. Anyway. Yeah, man.
Spy baits. We could talk about spy baits in the future.
Oh man, I just stuck that hook in my jeans.
Good.
Damn. That sucks. I'm gonna have to cut it. Now I'm gonna walk around with a flap slap. I dropped it and that gamakatsu went straight through my pants. Nice.
How many times have you had a hook in your body?
Wow. So when I was down in Florida as a kid, I went to the Ocala National Forest. I stayed with my aunt and uncle, and I was throwing a Rapala, like the 3-hook model. And I caught some good bass that morning out of an aluminum boat. Saw a big 8-foot alligator that day. Caught some mudfish the first time I ever caught them. Didn't know what they were. And I came back. I had like 2 rods. And I was carrying my Rapala. And this really good-looking girl that was in the neighborhood took my hat. And I'm like, Renee, give me back my hat. And I chased her around an orange tree. And the back hook of the Rapala got stuck on a branch and dug into my finger deep. And I'm like, oh, man. And I got real serious. I was like, give me back my effing hat. And she gave me back my hat. So I went into where I was staying at my aunt and uncle's, and I didn't know what to do, man. So I just got a pair of needle nose, and I, like, pulled it out. And I saw some silver tendon, and it was in this finger right here. So I have a scar from that. I got a hook down in Nag's Head from somebody else. That was pretty interesting.
Uh-huh.
I was fishing on the pier. I caught my limit of Spanish mackerel. I was looking at the sunset. I'd helped a bunch of people. Like, I filled up their coolers with Spanish because I'd already had my limit. Gave a lure to a kid that couldn't catch him. Gave him a gotcha plug, and he caught his first bluefish. He was so stoked. And so I'm just leaning on the rail by myself. Now, all the action is on the other side of the pier, right?
Okay.
I'm the only person on the north side of the rail, and I'm just watching the sunset. And all of a sudden I feel this thud on my arm. And I look down and it's a brand new gotcha stuck in my arm. Two sets of trebles on it, by the way. They're gold trebles. And I look down the rail and there's nobody next to me or this way. And I'm like, where did that lure come from? And I see this lady with a spinning rod upside down, surf pole. She's reeling the lure back. She didn't know where it landed. It's in my arm. I'm like, ma'am, stop reeling, stop reeling. So I walk over to her and she goes, she's French. She goes, oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't know what I was doing. She went to cast and she let it go behind her head.
Right.
It flew right into my arm. And so I got a bunch of guys coming over. Pliers, I'll get that out for you. And what was really weird, when I turned my wrist, I could feel the hook point rotating in my tendons. And so my wife's Uncle George, came over and he had a pair of snips and he cut the hook. So the hook's still in my arm. You know, I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do. It's so deep, I couldn't really, twist it. I'm probably going to need a tetanus shot because I hadn't had a booster in forever.
Be all right.
So I go to the 7-Eleven. Oh, yeah, here we go. So I go to the 7-Eleven and getting coffee, and there's a hook in my arm. It's pretty funny, man. So anyway, I think that's it. I got one in the back of my head from a buddy fly fishing. I don't think I've hooked myself. Oh, one more time. I was on the Chickahominy River throwing a DT6 team tournament. I got it snagged in some bulrush, and I'm yoking on it. And, man, that thing comes back flying like 100 miles an hour. And it was coming at my head, and I pulled my arm up, and it stuck me right here. Dude, I was trying to push the hook point through. I almost freaking passed out. Your skin is so tough. Have you ever tried to pop a hook point through your skin? Mm-hmm. It finally popped through, and I just clipped the point off and kept fishing. That's the only other time. How about you, man? What hook stories you got for me?
Just 3. 2 in the fingers and 1 in the leg. And 2 I was able to pop out with the braid technique.
Nice.
Very easy.
Yep.
And this is all my years of fishing. So, and they were all self-inflicted. Never from casting. It was always the 2 in the fingers were just taking a fish off the hook. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then last year I was on a guide trip, and I sat. I moved my leg. I moved my leg onto a whopper plopper and buried 2 of them. And here's the funny part. So I tried to pull it. I tried to deal with it. I couldn't. So I said, fuck it. I took a cutters, cut it off, and I fished the rest of the day with it in my leg. It wasn't really a big deal. But the guy I got to add this. We got $1.99 super chat. What's up?
Nice. Thank you.
But the guy the clients I had was a surgeon. Okay?
What?
Yeah, dude. So when we got back to the ramp, I remember we sat down on some old docks that were out of the water, and he got his little surgeon bag out of his truck. And
nice.
It had all the tools you would need, right? Like all these thingies, right?
Yeah.
Stainless steel, whatevers. And he worked it out in my leg. I mean, we had to push it through. Yeah. And he's like, it's going to be tough, you know what I mean?
Oh, dude.
It didn't hurt. It was just weird.
No, but isn't it crazy, like, how hard?
Oh, so much
the pressure.
Force.
It's crazy.
Yeah, but he did good.
What it takes to pop a hook through your skin.
He got it out, and then, him being a doctor, he's like, you really need to get a tetanus and all that. And the hooks were new, and I'm good. Just like that tick bite, bro. I'm still here. So
yeah, I got you, man. I got you. Okay, I'm with you, man. I'm with you, Steven. Thank you, man.
Yeah,
super chat. $10.
Thank you.
Oh no, Jeff, top of wife's head. Oh God.
That's not good.
Not good, man.
And I've never hooked a client. Good. Never hooked a client.
Yeah. Hey, Brian Waterman says, Baitman just said he wished you asked him to be on your show. We should have had him on the show tonight for crankbaits, man. That dude knows crankbaits.
Yeah. Set it up.
What? Hasn't he reached out to you, dude? It's your show.
Yeah, we have to...
so, now what?
We have to figure out what is today.
What
is today?
You're the producer. Drop shot tomorrow.
We have 3 more days of this 7 days alive.
Right.
And then we go back to Tuesday, which is our normal date.
Yeah.
I can't commit to another week of this every night. But
Fully understand.
I think we will do a Tuesday.
It's a lot of work, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I tried to prepare tonight. You know what I mean? And I pulled a lot of baits out.
Right.
Right.
I think we'll do. Oh. I think we'll go back to once a week.
There's that rattling fat wrap that I love in clown, baby.
Yes.
Yeah, I really like it in Fire Tiger, and I like it with the chartreuse bill, which is really odd, right? Why would somebody make a bill chartreuse? But man, in dirty water, in cold, dirty water, that little joker right there catches them.
All right, Sunday night, tomorrow night, drop shot extravaganza. Monday, swim jigs.
Oh, bottom of my chin, one in the little toe. Oh, God.
Tuesday, we're going to talk about line. And then...
That'll be a quick show.
And then I think what we're going to do is we're going to try to go live every Tuesday, but we're going to try to get some guests, do a little rotation. And then I think what we'll do is we'll do an impromptu live maybe once a week, like, you know, say Thursday, Friday, Saturday. We'll call each other up and be like, hey, you want to go on live tonight? And we'll be like, let's do it. Fair enough?
Yeah, I mean, aren't you going to have the Alabama Hammer back on, man?
Yeah, so we're going to do all that.
When's he coming on? He asked. I talked to him today. He wants to know. He loved it, man.
Whenever he wants. I don't care.
Well, do you want him on for any of these shows? I mean, drop shotting. I mean,
no, I'll take over drop shotting tomorrow.
Well, we know, man. Nobody's going to impinge upon your space. I mean, whoa.
He's probably.
That'll be fine, Eric.
He could come on Monday if he has something to add to swim jig. I'm sure he's got some southern swim jig techniques that would be great to learn about.
You know what? That would be great to learn about. I'd like to learn a little bit about swim jigging.
Let's invite him Monday.
All right.
But there's so much. So Z Bates has been watching our live quite a bit too. I want Z to come on too. There's a lot of companies I want to have come on. So I think we're gonna try to get into a little rotation of that.
Okay.
Fair enough?
I think it'd be great, man.
Are you keeping up with all these comments?
I'm trying. I'm starting to look a little bit unlike you earlier.
I'm looking.
No, Sean just asked if I'd ever used an airbrush. So, Sean, to be honest, I did buy a Copic. I think that's how you say it. Copic. I don't want to set up an airbrush down here. I would love to do it because I think I can. I actually paint like regular paint. My dad was an artist and learned how to paint in watercolor a little bit and, you know, color theory and all that. But, you know, mostly it's your eye, right? Paint what you want. And no, the baits don't have to look pretty to catch them if you're using nail polish. You can make it ugly and just put the paint on. Doesn't matter because the bait's moving so dang fast. But, no, I'd like to try it, man. So the Copic paints, you get a little air can, you screw it into the bottom, and you shoot it with these markers. I think it's pretty cool. I'm going to try it. I haven't done it yet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. Thank you, Sean. Thank you, Sean. I appreciate that, man.
What happened?
No, he was asking me about. He goes. He thinks I'm a great artist, man, with your colors. Thank you, man.
Sean Kingsman just sent in $30 on PayPal, but I think it's from an auction. Maybe it's a donation. I can't tell. But thank you either way.
So, Jimmy T, I just used the brushes that come in the bottles.
Eric, I'm giving you full screen. 1 second. I'll be right back, and we'll wrap up the show.
Yeah, sure. No problem, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, maybe we could do another show about painting crankbaits because, you know, especially with the nail polish and stuff, it's you know, I find it really, really useful. I'll take production crankbaits or crankbaits that get a little beat up or a crankbait that I want to change the color, especially like when they'll have things on sale. Like when Dick's was like blowing out Excaliburs for $2.99, I bought a ton of them because, you know, first of all, it's a great bait. Second of all, I wanted to do things with the color, and they had the just like plain brown ones, man. So I'd take that brown bait and make a June bug crankbait. Like I think I got this June bug crankbait, which I probably show every show. It's not here, man. It might be over at the bench. Hold on, let me get it because I think it's a cool color. No, not over here either. But I'll show you the one thing I did with like a flat A. So this is kind of cool, man. I took a flat A and, you know, I just doctored up the back with a little darker brown. I had a guy paint this for me, but I didn't like what he did with the shoulders and with the Fire Tiger lines. So, you know, I just took my black Sally Hansen. They make a skinny bottle of Sally Hansen nail polish, which has a thinner brush. It's like a detail brush. And they make pens. I don't like the pens, but you can get the thinner bottle of nail polish black, and that's what I use for detail lines. I could probably make stencils, but I just do those by hand, guys. And then I got a little copper nail polish that I really liked, and I don't know if you could see the copper on that bait in the shoulders, but sometimes crawfish will have a little gold in them. I know it sounds crazy to say it, but just a little hint of copper or gold, and that's like Rayburn red-ish, but with an orange belly. So you could just do a lot, man. You could get baits looking the way you want.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. It's just a lot of versatility. And I'm not painting the whole bait, is I guess what I'm trying to say. I'll take a production bait, like a shad colored bait, and just throw that purple lesson across the shoulder. You know? If somebody wants to know why I don't carve balsa. Man, I don't know. That would be cool. I haven't thrown the Mega Bass Griffin. Daniel Glenn, a Topwater show would be great. I found some winners, man. I found some winners. I found some poppers that just do things that other ones don't. I'm going to blow Travis's mind. Boom! Once again, he don't even know about them.
I don't know.
Whatever, dude. Whatever, dude.
Are you ready for bed yet?
Hey, man, whenever you're ready, bro, you can just end up the show. I know you got to get to sleep. It's all good.
No, we had a really good show tonight. I hope you guys
enjoyed so.
It.
Yeah, me too, man.
The only reason why I'm ending it is because once I end it, Eric talks to me for 20 minutes afterwards.
I do?
Sometimes,
man. No, I
Last night after our show, I wish we had the camera still rolling.
It was pretty fun.
The 20-minute conversation between you and me and Jimmy after the show, I was like,
that was good.
There's our after hours.
That was really good, man.
Yeah, you were
Yeah, East Ohio, man. If I was going up to New York, I would bring big glides with Travis. Hit big swim baits. Because I think you saw it in Bama. Big glide baits get big bites. St. Crest, when you go out and decide. So, seasonality, you know, St. Crest, man. If it's early spring, I'm going to have a spring crawl for sure. You know, in the fall, when the fish are transitioning or thinking about shad, I'm throwing shad colored baits. I'm not saying they won't eat shad in the spring, but if it's springtime, you know, you saw a lot of baits. This is a little sleeper crankbait. Anybody know what it is? You know, mustard, red craw. You know, and then you got, well, yeah, I mean, this is my spring crawl, the mustard. I might throw a little. That's a great example of a bait. I mean, it's got enough orange in the shoulder. That's my spring crawl color. Yeah, man. So seasonality, but again, keep it simple. If the water's muddy, I'm going to my chartreuse black back. You get a lot of muddy water in the spring. You know, there you go. Bigger bait. If it's muddy, I'm going with a rattle in the bait. If it's clear, I'm probably going with a non-rattling bait. I don't know, man. Did I answer the question?
I don't even know what the question was, but yes, sounds good.
He asked about which colors baits do you throw and why.
I got you.
You know, you're going to the Upper Bay. What are you bringing and when and why? There you go. Yeah.
When are we going to fish on the Upper Bay, Eric?
I don't know, man. I don't know. When am I ever going to get to go fishing again is the real question, man. When my work slows down, it's been cray-cray.
Yeah.
You know, but I've enjoyed the break, actually, man. I've enjoyed the talk. I really have. It gave me kind of space to organize my tackle and my life.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, there were things that I was really ignoring, man. You know, I mean, I know, you know, my dad passed away, man. I had to settle his estate. That was a tough thing, you know. Just took a lot of time. So, yeah. Oh my God! Wow! Somebody just sent me a picture of a monster pike.
Damiki armor shad. Yes, absolutely.
Northern. Best 5, 26.7. Eastern Shore, man. Wait a minute, Z Baitco, you got On the Eastern Shore? Like Eastern Shore of Maryland? Fairy dust. Tom Pavlov, he wants to know about the fairy dust.
Everyone does.
I don't know, man. Thanks, Sean. I appreciate that, man. Fairy dust. He's just going to keep typing it.
Yeah, guys, so Mark Zona put a big post out on social media today asking everyone to call the governor on Monday and basically tell him what the freak is going on in Michigan. So you can't use a motorized boat on national water. Crazy.
Oh, Churn Creek, Still Pond, totally want to do that, man. Totally coming out, Z-Bait. You got it. It's Hunter, right? Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I'm coming. Yeah, man, I want to do that, man.
Jackal Riser. Someone keeps talking about the Jackal Riser.
The Rip Riser?
Yeah.
Michigan is a communist state.
Oh, shit.
Basic show Ott's bait again. All right, hold on, man.
All right, we're going to wrap this up, though, soon, guys.
Yeah, I know.
We still got pretty good crowd, though.
I got to find it. Where is it? I found it pretty quick last time, which surprised me too, actually. Let me see if I could do it once again. There it is. Man, that was quick. Okay, one more time for you guys.
There it is.
Boom. The one on the bottom. Speed trap.
Yeah, we didn't talk about that at all.
I know, man. Well, okay, I'll throw you a little curveball. So the Japanese, they did copy it, but they copied it with a trick. I'm dying to throw this bait. I don't know. So this is the Speed Kid. Who would throw the Speed Kid? But what I want you to look at is the bill is diamond shaped at the end. Got to think about that. So the bait's digging with a diamond-shaped bill. So it's like a knife. They call it a knife edge, by the way. And if anybody could read Japanese out there, I would really love some help because, you know, when you're reading about baits, it's hard to translate, you know, because I guess I'd have to digitize this and feed it into a translator because I'd like... And then when you translate Japanese, like on Google, the words don't come out right. I think sometimes it's like the big bus instead of the big bass. So it's pretty funny, but there's a lot of thought. So whatever that bait designer was thinking about that diamond shaped lip, if it's digging, it's got a point. It's like probably, so it hit a rock and it would slide off and deflect. I mean, the whole thing about the Speed Kid was, or the speed trap, is that you could burn the bait, right? It's super stable the way it's designed. So the old speed traps, everybody knows it, like has dimples in the belly on the front of the hook hanger, the front and bottom hook hanger. The older ones, the way the mold was made, there'd be 2 depressions. The newer ones do not have the depression. Apparently everybody chases the older ones. I don't know, man. It's just like the same debate. Did the bait change? Can you still burn it? Do the new ones catch them? I'm sure they do. But people pay big money for the old ones. I got a few of the old ones. It's just not a bait that I put in my arsenal. I don't know why. I'm probably missing out because I know they catch them. You know, when I went out with Pete Gluzik and I was throwing the fat wrap, he had the speed trap. And of course, he's reeling the speed trap fast, and I'm worming this fat wrap and catching them. So, I don't know. Just that day, I mean, maybe I got lucky, but, you know, it was cold, muddy water. I was going to fish this. And he was trying to get a reaction bite. I don't know. Yeah. He was throwing Fire Tiger. I was throwing Fire Tiger. One lure versus another, you know. We're cranking Rip Wrap. They wanted the fat wrap that day. So.
Oftentimes they do.
Oftentimes it's, you know, it's depth and speed and cadence, right, and the mood of the fish, and sometimes a burn bait, they got to bite it, sometimes they won't. Oh my gosh. All right, Travis.
Yes. What do you think?
LNS Minnow. It's just still rolling in. How many people are still here?
What do we got? 260.
Pretty good, man.
Man, 260 people.
Bass and Passion, old speed traps from the 90s, man. Yeah, man. Lure Jensen was your sponsor. That's pretty cool. That's what I'm talking about. Those are good. Do you have the little ones, Bass and Passion? I can't remember the weights. What is it, like the 1/8 ounce, Travis?
Was 8, yes.
Yeah, the smaller ones, right? A lot of guys like the smaller ones. That's kind of like a finesse crankbait. You know what I mean? It's yeah, man. Let's do it, man. Let's go rip up that sassafras. I'd love that. Man, I'm close to it because, I live close to the Bay Bridge. I guess I'd go over the shore side, right? Yeah, man. Hit me up. I'm so ready for that.
You guys don't know shit about the sass.
Neither do you.
Oh. I catch him there in the spring if the grass was up.
Why do you think I'm going with Hunter and not you? Right.
Yeah, same old shit. Same old broke down docks and same old laydowns.
But that's where you and I differ.
What?
And I think that says it all. Okay. The reason you don't like to hear about any of this junk is because you like to go up and catch easy fish. Those dumb smallies up north that eat like stripers, right? Okay. They bite everything.
Not everything.
Dude, listen. When I went up north for the first time, I'd never fished anywhere up there. I went up to watch my son play lacrosse tournament. I fished with you one day, right? It was not a great day, the half day that we spent together. We caught some, right? The next day, I go out with that guy, Darren, right? It was an easy day. Fish were biting better, right? I could not believe how many fish we caught. You got to admit, when you find a smallmouth, he's going to eat, generally.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I like the grind. I like pressured fish. I like when it's tough to catch them. And don't get me wrong, I love when it's easy too. But I dig going into places that have been pounded, community holes, and figuring out a tip, a technique, a retrieve, a lure, a bait, something that somebody doesn't do anymore. It's old, forgotten, whatever. Finesse, and go catch bass behind people. I think that's when you've mastered something, when you can figure out the tough bite. That's what I dig. I love the grind.
People keep talking about red hooks.
Red hooks, man. I don't know, man. I use them, and I like the Gamakatsu red hooks, by the way. There are other companies that make red hooks, but why I like the red hooks is because they're gold underneath. And so when fish really start to chew on them, it's kind of like that flap slap I showed you. So that's a red Gamakatsu hook, and I caught so many smallies up there with Travis, there's barely any red left. Right. They chewed the color off the hook. It's pretty cool. I'd cry if I lost this one.
You know what?
I would dive down, and I would dive down for that one.
I'm a big believer in red hooks. And
is it just a target?
Yeah. Do you think? I did a quick video that nobody's seen yet, ever. It was for Monster Bass, and I have it queued up if you guys want to.
I would love to see.
Let's do it.
Nice.
Let's do it right now for the folks that are left. We're going to give you a little tip on red hooks. Let me just pull it up.
And Sean, I'd adopt you, man.
What?
He goes, he'll pay rent. He's only 28, and he can feed himself.
You guys.
Hey, look at that, man. Justin threw the split shot on the Big G today. Oh, man, that's what I love to hear. That's awesome, man. Then Eric would love spay fishing for chromes. Kyle Vaden, I would love to spay fish for chromes. I would love to catch a chromie.
All right, you guys ready? It's a 4-minute video. Let's enjoy. I don't think we're gonna be able to talk during the video though, Eric. So
I know I won't say a word.
No, I don't. For some reason, I can't get the microphone to work when we're showing a video. But let me put a new scene in. and we'll take a look. Stay on, buddy. There we go. Not a bad smallmouth. On the top water. Hooked good. Well, hey guys, it's SmallmouthCrush. On behalf of Monster Bass, I want to talk about treble hooks, specifically red treble hooks, and when I use them. I do think it makes a difference. Let's get into it. So there's a lot of contradictions in the fishing world. Using red line because some say red disappears underwater. Red hooks, regular colored hooks. I mean, how do you know what's right? So here's my belief when it comes to red. The reason why I put a red treble hook on my topwater baits. Now, as far as crankbaits, rattle traps, things like that, I've experimented. I haven't found that to be quite the case with a crankbait, but when I'm throwing a topwater bait like this this whopper plopper here, this is the 110 whopper plopper, and you notice here in the front hook it's a round bend and it's red, and the back hook is just the a standard bronze or silver colored hook. And the reason for that is I feel when I get, here's what I think happens. I feel that when that fish sees that topwater up there cruising along, a steady plop, 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 he's going to go up and decide that split second. It's really a reaction bait. He's going to decide, okay, I'm going to go grab that thing. Goes up, and I think at the last second when he's ready to strike, I think that red hook helps him, gives him a target, if you will. Because I want that fish to bite this bait and get that front hook deep in his mouth, which would allow this back hook to possibly catch him on the side of the face or outside the mouth, which will increase my chance of getting that fish into the boat. Because with topwater baits, you know, sometimes it's a low percentage bait as far as being able to get a hook up and get that fish and land that fish, you know, properly. So most of my topwaters are going to have it. You'll see this super spook, 3 hooks. I want him to bite that first one, and it allows these other hooks, if he's jumping or moving around down there, to hopefully grab the side of his face and catch him. And then as well with this gunfish, red hook in the front. So that's all. I just think the last split second decision that that fish makes, you can experiment with this. I encourage you guys to give this a try. Oftentimes you're going to see that that fish bites the red hook over the other ones. And you know, it'd be cool to see, what if we put the red hook on the back or the middle? Would that make a difference? I've done it in the past years ago, and it certainly has. So I'm a believer. That's why I use a red hook. Now, as far as red line and all that stuff, I have no idea. I don't use it. I don't deal with it. But I am pretty confident that I like a red hook in the front of the bait. Well, there you go. A quick video on why I like a red hook. Beautiful fall day. I'm actually down here in Tennessee right now, and the smallmouth are cooperating. It's a fun bite. I'm not sure what I'm doing. I'm on a brand new body of water. I've never I haven't spent a lot of time on it, so I'm just going down some bluff walls, throwing the whopper plopper, hoping to get a couple big smallmouth. I'm gonna get back at it. Hey guys, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And as always, until next time, we'll see you guys on the water. Well, there you go, Eric.
Cool.
Everything you ever wanted to know about why we use it. No, so I like a red hook on my topwater baits. Perhaps it gives them a target. Okay. I've tried red hooks on crankbaits. It doesn't seem to... I have no idea. It's hard to tell. It really is. Do you agree?
No, I love a red hook. Okay. I think it's the same thing. Right. I mean, like when I'm grinding a crank, let's say I'm worming a crankbait, right? And I stop that crankbait, especially in colder water. That fish is getting a look at that red. That red, I mean, a bass can see how much better than we can see. Do you know?
No, I don't know.
Do you agree that a bass has better vision than we do?
How would I know that?
I think it's pretty much common knowledge.
I don't know.
I think it's common knowledge.
Okay.
They have better sight. They're largemouth bass. If they don't catch their prey, they don't survive.
All right.
Evolutionary theory would dictate that, like, a falcon has better vision than we do. A lot of animals in the kingdom here on the earth that we live on that have to eat to survive and catch and kill their prey have better sight than we do.
These guys, yeah, I'm getting killed on these comments, dude.
You should be, dude. Are you joking me? Did you really just say that? They got a fucking lateral line that lets them sense vibration.
No, they don't. They're not killing me because I question the bass's
They will. Give visual. It 30 seconds.
They're saying...
No, they will kill you on that too. Trust me.
They're questioning my dress attire on the lake that day.
Oh, I got to catch up, man. Travis, you fishing or shooting for Old Navy? Well, yeah, you know what? Travis is a fashionista, man. What can you tell, man? I mean, he wears Lululemon. He's got his thing. He likes to look crisp, man. Although I will question your camo blue and your camo hat tonight.
I know. I thought about that too.
Yeah.
I didn't know you guys could tell that this was camo.
We can.
Okay.
Surprise! I do like it.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't. Blue and green.
I get it, dude.
Once again, color theory, like last night, the red and blue on the copy, just terrible. I mean, like, horrible. My dad would have had a heart attack. He was spinning in heaven up there, man. It's the vest.
And now the comments bashing me about how I don't know anything about bass's eyesight. No, I'm kidding.
No, they definitely can see better than we can. So, to me, it's kind of like, if a crankbait's moving so fast, why put a black dot on it? Right? Target.
Yeah. True.
I mean, trust me, man. It just gives them a target to zero in on. So red hooks for sure. And you know what? If it gives you more confidence, definitely put them on, right?
Yes.
You know what I mean? Travis, are you still with Monster Bass?
I am, yeah.
How are those videos going? Was that one of the Monster Bass videos you had to create?
Was. Yes, yep.
Good, very good. Very good. How many more do you got to do this year?
I try to do a bunch, dude. Lots of them. How many you got in the can so far this year? I got one. I got to edit tomorrow.
Wait, no. What I meant was we did one on the St. Lawrence. I remember that one.
Yep. We did a couple.
For Monster Bass, the spinnerbait.
Spinnerbait, rattle trap, lipless.
Oh, yeah. Lipless, you're right. I
think we did a crankbait one. We did a bunch because what we try to do is showcase a bait that comes in the box every month, like how to, blah, blah, blah. So
yeah, right.
They got some cool ones moving forward that we're going to definitely, hopefully, get on the Chesapeake and show you guys. But
the baits, Berkeley, the company that invented the Berkeley scent, right? Because they are the science behind bass. They've studied them 3 times better than we can. There you go.
Well.
So Jay Henfish asked, how do you organize boxes for the boat with all the choices? So like, you guys know I'm a big fan of those Slim series, and this is the Slim series. So what I'll do is, this is a Slim series, Plano. See how thin that is, Travis? You love these, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they're really cool. They're great, man. And I can fit top waters in these things. These happen to be Rapala custom painted DT flats. I didn't talk about that tonight, but they're badass bait. A little known, did you know Rapala made a flat bait, Travis?
Yes.
A flat, you did?
Yes.
Do you know what makes their flat special?
How wide it is at the bottom.
No, not at all.
Okay, I was just taking a guess.
No, do you know what makes the DT series special and why you love it so much? I'm going to turn you guys on to a little bit of knowledge here about.
Do tell.
So the DT baits. This is the flat, by the way, the DT flat, and this is the deep dive. I think it's DT7. So it hits a range that the DT6 doesn't get to. Anyway, these baits run nose down. So when they kind of fall over, and then when they pop out, they have an action. So these baits are really good coming through cover, right? They don't deflect, they fall forward. They design them that way. So it's got a really nose down attitude. And it's just got a tighter wiggle. So yeah, but I love the slim. And so what I'll do is if I'm spring fishing, I will label spring cranks, and I'll have a mixture of baits. I'll have my shad wraps, I'll have my flat sides, I'll have my DT baits, and then I'll have like, some flat A's or maybe some wiggle warts. So I'll do a combo box. And so basically all I'm doing is picking my colors for if I know I'm going, I'll have muddy water colors, clear water colors. So if I'm traveling on the road and I encounter muddy water, you can be sure that I'm going to have a chartreuse black flat A in there. You can also be sure that I'm going to have some shad colored baits, some spring crawl colored baits. So maybe like one or two. If I really love a color, I'll double up on them. So I'll have multiple boxes. I'll have a chatterbait box in that bag. So I might have 3 or 4 boxes of this general purpose, jigs. And then I'll show you, we'll show you the rest of the tackle organization. You can see the back of my truck in a video. I mean, we got to see that a little.
Yeah, but we have to shoot the new video, dude.
Yeah, but didn't you show on Wilson? Did you show the back of my truck a little bit?
Slightly.
Okay. Well, you'll see those slim boxes in the back if you watch Travis's most recent video drop of Wilson Lake, the Drum King special.
Yeah, we didn't get a lot of views on that, dude. Timing. We had like 1,200 views, and I think I put that out yesterday.
Yeah.
I thought that was a good one. Sorry.
Yeah. So
YouTube's finicky, dude. I'll put a video out, and if it's not the right timing, here's how YouTube works. I'll put a video out, and if I don't get eyeballs in the first 60 minutes, the algorithms, it's messed up. I'm learning still.
Yeah. Yeah, Jamie, those are badass flats, right? Dan Hancock, the new Ott bait is supposedly similar to the flat. So, because the flat's out of production, so I'm glad to see Ott's doing something. Because I always ask Travis why Rapala didn't have an 8-foot diver, right? They got the DT4, the DT6, and then the DT10. So that's like a 4-foot range. I always wanted an 8, because the DT10 versus the DT6 was such a bigger bait. Wouldn't you agree?
I do. There's a big difference. But I started throwing that DT10 more.
Yeah.
It's in that 6 foot or more.
Yeah.
5 to 6. Just to grind it,
Grind it, baby. Yeah. Oh my God. I mean, I think I told a story, maybe it was on Baitman, sorry. About a guy on the Potomac. My buddy fished with a guy in a tournament. He was a pro. I can't remember his name. But the dude was taking a DD. Hold on. 22. This bait. Look, that's an old school one too, man. Anyway, and it's a matte fire tiger. And he was crashing it, like ripping it, like ripping his rod in 3 to 5 foot of water. And the bait would just crash into like cover, and then he would stop it and go to rip it again, and fish were just yanking on it. We got to try that. I want to go rip some DD22s on a couple drops we know about.
All right.
Can we try it?
In the summer.
This is the kind of stuff
post spawn.
Of course, when they get back to their drops, right, we got to do it the right time of year. But can't we just try some funky stuff? See, we always go back to the stuff we know. We're not trying new things. That's the kind of stuff I want to try, man. Does it work? Can we do it as a pattern? We know the fish are there. I mean, how many fish do you think have seen in 5 foot of water a DD22 just crashing around?
0.
That's what I'm saying. What if it worked? Like, we caught some janes.
Hey, I haven't made a trout video in a while, somebody said. I went trout fishing today.
Nuh-uh.
I did.
Did you shoot a video?
No, I was just... John Henning recommended the place. I just didn't have enough time to explore. It's a nice little river, but...
Yeah. Yeah, Fishing Magician, I agree, man. If you're fishing a crankbait and you're not contacting the bottom, unless you're fishing grass and you don't want the crankbait to dig, you want to tick in the top of grass just to get hung up and pop it free. Right? Yeah, Don Westfall. I don't know, man.
What's that?
Jay Henfish said ran a XD10 at the channel marker post in Mattawoman. Did you catch him? I'm asking John Henning Fish. John Henning. Oh, Jamie, cool, man. He's going to come out with a circuit board. I like that. Yeah, Steve Hardy, man. The Potomac got super tough last year, man. That was a good question. I still caught him, but it was a grinder. There was very little cherry grass. It was a lot of hydrilla, and, hydrilla, like as in hydrilla mats. And so the fish are just way tougher to find. They're there. Muskie Hunter. You boys are a lot more calm. Travis is. I'm still a little fired up.
I'm fine. I had a good show. We had a good show.
I'd say solid black crank, yeah. So I'm going to show you. Maybe not solid black, but this color is a sleeper color. Nobody throws it. It's skunk. The people in the know throw the black. They throw the skunk. Carolina Killer and everywhere else too.
Can I buy that from you?
No.
I think I asked you 2-3 episodes ago.
I know, man. Tom keeps asking about Fairy Trash Point. Circuit board over traditional plastic lips. It's more durable. Yep.
What is circuit board?
Oh, way more durable. Way more durable.
Skinnier.
Better
feel. I think you'll get a better feel for the bait.
Yeah, and it has a little more flex. I mean, I can't bend that bill at all, but a circuit board bill you can bend.
Sure.
But more durable, less likely to break. Circuit board, I get it, but frankly, if I'm fishing in clearer water, I don't want a circuit board bill on my bait. I want a clear Lexan because I want them to just see the shad. If that had a circuit board lip, I'd have opaque material and it would make the bait look that much bigger. I'm trying to match a shad that size. So I'm not a fan always of circuit board. Sorry. That's just me. Sean. Yeah, dude. I'm Steven, $20. You guys got to come up for some chrome in upstate New York.
Really? Not. I would go tomorrow. And guess what, Eric? You coming?
What? I can't go.
Yeah.
But I want to go for chromies. What's the time of year you're fishing for chromies?
Right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Dang, man. I would love to do that.
I want to bring a spinning rod, though, not a fly rod or a center pin or whatever it's called.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Like a 10-foot noodle rod.
Yeah, you want to throw a 10-foot noodle rod for the chromie?
Yeah.
Not a spay rod?
No.
I gotcha.
Well, thanks for the super chat.
Man, Carl, I'm Corrado K, Chronic MG, or Metanium. I actually have all 3 of those reels. I'm sorry to say. Man, for the money, Corrado K. Thoughts on the Berkeley Fritz side for sure. Yep. Great bait. He got it right. Very done. You're going to drop shot for chrome.
Fairy dust.
Very dust. Chromie. It's chromie is a steelhead. John Henning. Tennessee Killer, man. Yeah, man. That's an old tap style bait. A lot of Carolina boys threw those baits in brush piles to catch them. Zoom made a tap style bait. I sold one last night called the duck, the small duck. They have a duck which is bigger. Yeah, and everybody was copying tap. I can't remember. Was it Steve Blazer who made the tap? I can't remember. Yeah.
Still drop shot and crosstails. I don't drop shot crosstails as much as I used to.
Yeah, St. Crest. So rod and reel. So
we'll talk about that tomorrow night.
Yeah, St. Crest. Early season, if I'm throwing a -1, ticking the tops of pre-emergent grass, I'll throw it on 12-pound test, and then as the grass gets thicker, I'm moving up to 15 or 17 because I want to keep it out of the grass. And you really, the key to a -1 is the water gets warmer, you increase your reel speed, so you want to go to a higher speed reel, and in the summer you're burning the bait as fast as you can reel it with the fastest reel you can get your hands on. And you can go to braid in the summer because you just can't snap it out of the grass. So when you're reeling it, you'll feel your line tighten up. That means your line's coming through probably a patch of milfoil or coontail. That bait's going to get hung up, and as soon as it gets hung up, you got to snap it. You're not pulling it out of the grass. You're snapping it out of the grass. So it's that wrist action of snapping it, and that's how you get bit on a -1. It's kind of like a trap or a chatterbait, right? And that snap, and that bait's not moving far, but they will eat it. So yeah, the baby the baby 1-, baby. And by the way, yeah, there's some people that love the mid and the big, and there's a great article if you can find it on a guy that did mods to the mid, or was it the big minus? The big -1. My gosh, it's a big bait. I think I got one over there. Oh yeah, here it is. And bone. You asked me why I lay these lures out, Travis, and it's for this purpose. So there's your bigger mans. So bigger baits get bigger bites. And I forget the guy's name, but Steve Chaconis, who I fish with when he sells his boat, he guides on the Potomac. I've known him for a long time, and we really love to get into the details of why fish bite. Unlike my partner Travis in crime, sometimes he's just bored with the details. Anyway, so they would drill a hole, take out beads. So it made this bait just different, and you have to look at the instructions because I don't know where to drill, but they're removing. There's a lot of BBs in here, and it really makes the bait just such a wide kick. It wears you out, but yeah. I mean, anyway, there's a tip for you. I've never done it. I just fished the -1, but I bet if I threw the bigger one and modified it, I get bigger bites. Nope. Oh my gosh, Eric, yeah, you got to get on to what you call it, man. No, old line stay pappy. I just throw the Sudus, man. Just a little Earl. That's the only one I like. Little Earl. That's it. Yeah, I got some Fat Boys by Norman. Never got really into them, but they're good.
I got a bunch too. I can't seem to get into those, dude.
The baby -1s?
No, the Fat Boys.
The Fat Boys?
They have a hell of a, vibrations there.
Yeah.
You got to give it that. I can't seem to get a fish on them. I know guys that have.
Yeah, I think that, there's probably little tricks to baits that you got to understand the bait. Like I've got some sneaky baits that I didn't cover tonight that, in colder water, they're like a -1 because they run at that depth. They're out of production team Daiwas. And when the water's really cold and in post spawn, they just seem to get bit better than the -1.
Yeah.
Different sound chamber. Different action. Yep. Pretty cool, man. Vegetable oil on cranks. I got no clue. WD-40s. That's a scent. I think there was whale oil or something in WD-40. Brandon Bisco. They don't stick to the pan when you cook them. No, I don't paint any unfinished blanks.
You don't?
Oh, Travis Wise. No, sprayed foam to stop the rattle. That's pretty cool. 2 minutes to midnight.
I know. 1 minute. I got 1 minute. 1 minute.
We did it again?
I'm excited.
That's crazy, man.
Now we can go to bed.
Yeah, man. I've been
out of it, guys. Listen, no, I appreciate the great information that Eric has shared. It's a lot, right? A lot of information tonight. I'm blown away every time you talk about this stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Man. I think guys learned a lot. I hope you guys got some value out of tonight's show. Who's vibrating over there?
I don't know.
It's not me. Comments were great.
Oh yeah, always, man.
Tomorrow night's gonna be fun. I'm gonna step it up for tomorrow for you guys.
Yeah, man, I'm totally kicking back. I don't think I'm gonna read one question for like an hour. Good luck.
Unlike you, I can do both.
Oh.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see it.
Except for last night with the with the crazy auction.
That was hysterical, dude.
I don't think I'll ever forget that.
That was a total laugh-o-rama.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, hold on. I'm going to go to the fishing question of the day. This is how we're going to end the show tonight. This is my fishing calendar. I'm still stuck on January 4th. So what's today, Travis?
The 12th
of April. So let's go to the 12th of April. All right, hold on. That's the 15th. April 11th. So this says Monday, April 11th. This must have come from a... Okay, here we go. This is a bass one. And I'm going to read it. Usually it's in either or proposition when fishing a given lure in a place where there are good-sized crappies and bass. But if you use a small spinner jig combination for the crappies, you stand a good chance to also catch a bass or two, since these lures look enough like a morsel to attract their interest. That brings up a story that I have for everybody, and this is the last thing I'm going to say tonight. Who fishes a beetle spin in their life? So everybody has, right? So I would take early season, I would get a beetle spin, and I forget the company that made them. I would just buy their bulk beetle spin spinners. And then I would take a crappie jig, and I would tie like very glittery chenille on the body, and then I would make a sparkle tail out of sparkle flash, and I would throw it on 6-pound tests, and I would slow roll it, and then if I hit any cover, I would occasionally snap it and pause it for a split second. I can't tell you the number of 2, 3, and 4-pound bass I caught on that early season. A beetle spin. Really? A beetle spin. So that's one of the things I'd like to do, is take a beetle spin out early season and see if I could replicate that. And I was pond fishing. We'd catch crappies, we'd catch bass, we'd catch sunnies. Man, it was crazy, dude.
Yeah.
That's how we're ending the show. So that was the bass tip of the day, man.
Man, we're not ending it screaming at each other?
No, man. Get your beetle spins out, bros, and you can catch a meal of crappie.
Just like that guy.
And maybe catch a giant bass. That's a good tip, man. There's another forgotten bait that no respecting bass fisherman would be throwing in a tournament. What do you think of that, man?
I love it. Hey, guys, thanks for hanging out with us tonight. We made it past midnight. Tomorrow, drop shot, 8:30, everything you need to know. I can't thank you guys enough. Eric, have a wonderful night.
Thanks, everyone.
Get some sleep.
Hey, man, happy Easter to everybody out there, man. And, good luck to anybody who's dealing with this craziness, man. I hope everybody's healthy. Be safe. Be well, man. That's my wishes for everybody.
There you go. And
you got it,
next time,
we'll see you on the water.
See you guys on the water.
Take it up.